In his heart, Shangguan said that it was over. He stepped on the trees around him and jumped up. Can dodge. The officer lightly vomited a breath, black energy toward one of Warcraft's head to attack. Boom! The huge head was hit by Shangguan, but it didn't seem to cause much damage to it. However, it angered two Warcraft. Bad thing. Shangguan's face changed slightly. The two Warcraft were like two mad cows with red eyes. Roar! A roar broke the air. Shangguan felt his head humming and clenched his fists, but saw two Warcraft running towards him again. Damn it! Shangguan hastened to activate the energy, but this time he didn't plan to be tough. Two Warcraft broad body knocked down a few trees around, with a roar shaking. In the heart secretly cries bitterly. He looked behind him, suddenly in front of a bright. Not far behind, a towering tree stood behind. Great! Shangguan could not help shouting, turned around and ran towards the tree. And behind him, the two behemoths were still following closely. Hey, that's it. Don't lose it. Although the two guys are bulky, but the speed is not slow. They turn their heads and watch the two Warcraft behind them getting closer and closer. Push the energy and fly forward. The big tree has come to the front, and behind, the horns of the two Warcraft are touching their backs. Shangguan urged energy, suddenly made a sharp turn, and turned to one side. But the two Warcraft were too big to make a sharp turn. One of them hit the big tree, and the other, too late to stop, but wanted to stop, so he tripped forward a few circles, knocked down several trees. With a loud bang, the big tree with at least 5 people was shaken violently, and leaves fell one after another. Haha. Shangguan laughed happily, gasped for breath and wiped the sweat on his forehead. The two Warcraft have completely entered the state of madness, roaring wildly and struggling violently, but the two horns are stuck in the wood and can't be pulled out. The fallen Warcraft has already stood up, turned his head and let out a hurricane to Shangguan. Quickly raise your hand, the black energy toward the hurricane. The injury on the body was already unbearable. Shangguan was hit by the force and stepped back for several steps. He almost fell down. He quickly helped the tree trunk around him, which stabilized his body, but saw that Warcraft had rushed to him. Hard as sink, Shangguan hastily urged energy, toward the side to flash. The huge corner rubbed his cheek in the past, a few strands of hair floating down, the cheek suddenly hot. Shangguan has been frightened out of a cold sweat, grinning, enduring severe pain. This is really, God is going to kill me. The Warcraft shakes its head and makes its strength stand on its feet, as if it is accumulating power. Shangguan looked around, surrounded by endless forest, except for Warcraft, no one. Who could have come here? Shangguan wailed and wanted to sigh about his fate. Another hurricane hit in front of him. Shangguan was exhausted and had no time to defend himself. He had to hide on his side, but he was still knocked down by the rest of his strength. The huge hoof had stepped in front of him. Shangguan breathed and closed his eyes in despair. All of a sudden, the Warcraft in front of him gave a violent roar, which almost broke Shangguan's eardrum and made him nearly bleed. Open your eyes to see, but only before meeting the sun dazzling. A pretty figure standing in front of you. Long hair in the slightly blowing, a burst of fragrant wind face. Saved. Shangguan couldn't help cheering. Only the woman before meeting suddenly leaped up, facing, and the Warcraft in front of her, with a ferocious and terrible wound on her face bloody. Don't look at me, just heal. I can't handle it for long. The woman didn't look back, but suddenly she yelled angrily, waved her sword and attacked Warcraft. Shangguan quickly concentrated and gathered his breath. He sat up cross-legged and closed his eyes. The woman glanced back at Shangguan, waved an energy, resisted the hurricane of Warcraft, and protected Shangguan firmly behind him. Over there, Warcraft, stuck in the tree, suddenly struggled violently. Suddenly there was only a click. With the strong wind, the towering tree, which was made of single trees, fell to the ground with a roar. Warcraft shakes its head, raises its hoof and gallops towards the woman. The ground is shaking. Shangguan frowned. He was just about to get up when he heard the extremely pleasant voice coming into his ears. Don't get up. I'll deal with it first, God help me. Shangguan was very grateful to the woman, but he didn't speak and healed quietly. Women's panting is getting louder and louder. Shangguan knows how difficult it is for one person to deal with 2 warcraft. Now also dare not delay, more serious healing up. Although his physical strength didn't recover, it didn't delay his healing. Thinking of the pieces of meat he was defending in his personal space, Shangguan was cruel in his heart. Forget it, raw meat is raw meat. Eat it. Without hesitation, he took out a piece of raw meat and put it directly into his mouth. Then he quickly closed his eyes and ate the bloody raw meat while continuing to heal. With the food supplement, physical strength and a little bit of recovery, the body injury is also faster. The woman is still fighting with the 2 warcraft. She is much stronger than the average woman. She really delayed a lot of time. Finally, just when the woman was about to hold on, Shangguan opened her eyes fiercely. And the other side at the same time. The vast sea bottom, Situlan's body is hanging a bead to avoid water, flying fast toward the front. Although Has avoids the water drop to help oneself not to let also sleep erosion. But at the bottom of the sea, the huge water pressure still exists. Even though Situlan raised the speed to the extreme, he still couldn't walk too fast. Up to now, Situlan has been moving forward for a day and a night. He has been surrounded by seawater for a long time, and all of them are boundless blue. From time to time, there are all kinds of creatures passing by. Situlan carefully avoided them all, which did not encounter danger. Situlan felt as if he had fallen into a maze that he could never walk out of. No matter which direction he went, his sight was the same blue. But even so, he did not waver, has been moving in a direction. A school of fish slowly swam over Situlan gently around the past, but there is still a fish broke into the blank circle around Situlan, directly fell on the ground, constantly fluttering. Situlan's step as Emil bent down to pick up that small fish, put into the water again. This place is so big that I have to keep company with you. It's a pity you can't get close to me. Situlan shook his head. In this place, quiet for so long, even a fish he can talk up. Watching the fish leave, Situlan turns around and is ready to move on. But at this time, suddenly another school of fish rushed towards Situlan. The speed of the school of fish was much faster than just now. Situlan can't escape, and has several fish directly into the space around him. What's the matter? This time, Situlan did not have the heart to pick up the fish. The speed of the school of fish has suddenly accelerated. There must be something wrong with it. Let's see first. Situlan looked around and hid directly behind a coral. He looked up at the fish that was still speeding up. He was more puzzled. Is there a shark? Situlan said with a frown. The fish swam quickly. Then Situlan looked at the scene above, shocked to grow up, as if to see the most terrible scene in life. In the blood corpse place, there was still a place to laugh just now, and suddenly fell into a silence. Mu Xiaoming looks at Yunwu blankly. Although he believes what he understands, he still pretends not to understand. It's us. Don't worry, I won't leave you. How can I find her? I have to cure her injury. Mu Xiaoming said with a smile. Don't worry, I don't charge medical fees. Cloud Dance's line of sight flows on Mu Xiaoming's face, trying to see something, but Mu Xiaoming conceals it very well. Who is this man in black clothes? No, you tell her the way. She will heal herself. Cloud Dance's cold voice sounded. Tone is no doubt. I will not leave a person who has experienced so much but is still unwilling to reveal identity around. Mu Xiaoming pursed his lips, and all kinds of thoughts came out of his mind. Cloud Dance continued. Thank you very much for the blood corpse. If you have a chance in the future, I will repay you for what you need me to do. But if you hide something from me, then I won't be with you anymore. Mu Xiaoming chuckled. I'm so cool. You are such a person, but it's hard to make friends. I'm just looking for my friend. Cloud Dance continued. Thinking of those who are still missing so far, I am very worried. She made such a big noise on the top of the volcano and killed the blood corpse, but she still didn't see them. It only means that they have gone far away and can't get their own information. Otherwise, how can they not come to find themselves? Now that they are not here, there is no need for her to stay. Next, she needs to find another way to find the whereabouts of other people. I'm fine anyway. I'd better follow you. Mu Xiaoming said again. I might be able to help you along the way. I know the top of the volcano better than you. It's better than you running around all by yourself. Cloud danced light look at him, eyes firm. No. Mu Xiaoming pursed his mouth and stared at Yunwu for a long time. Yunwu then raised his head and tried to fight him. They were like having hatred, and neither of them would let the other. The other side of the three blood corpses sitting quietly, eyes in the two people's body circulation, forcing people's breath from them, as if to oppress them can't breathe in general, very strong. But the three did not dare to make a sound, let alone interrupt them. They could only bear it silently. On the other hand, after looking at each other for a long time, they finally ended up with a smile from Mu Xiaoming. All right. Mu Xiaoming said with a smile, as if he was not the one who looked at Yunwu just now. Since you want to know, I'll tell you. Yunwu takes back her eyes and looks very attentive. I mean no harm to you, or I will do my best to help you. Mu Xiaoming said, it has a purpose. What's the purpose? Cloud Dance coldly asks away. Working with you, said Mu Xiaoming. In fact, you have already acquiesced from the beginning? We are destined to cooperate. Cloud Dance's eyes flashed. It's true. At the beginning, they entered the mountain palace in the blood corpse placed together. Although they didn't say it clearly, they reached a tacit understanding in their hearts. But now they were told by Mu Xiaoming. You don't know who I am, so I'll introduce myself first. Mu Xiaoming stood up, straightened his clothes, went to Yunwu and said, my name is Mu Xiaoming. I'm the little master of the world of Mu capital. Yunwu's face is calm, but his heart is somewhat surprised. I have long guessed that his identity is extraordinary. He must have some identity background to persuade so many forces to fight against the blood corpse, but I didn't expect that he would be the little master of the world of Mudu. No wonder you have that. Cloud Dance opened his mouth and said that what he said naturally refers to the flower of rattan. At the beginning of that fire beast clan, is also you intentionally seek up? Mu Xiaoming regained his smiling appearance again. Well, it's just that you work so hard, so I'll find an excuse to help you, but I really want to compete. The Cloud Dances in the heart a burst of speechless. No wonder a competition can get the flowers of rattan. She has known about it for a long time, but she didn't expect it was designed by this person? Why are you helping me? What do you want me to do? Cloud Dance asks away. Tone softened a lot. In fact, from the beginning, she had no hostility to Mu Xiaoming, but there was some atmosphere. They were close friends, but they didn't even tell her their identity. Now that Mu Xiaoming has said it, she can accept it more easily. No matter what the purpose of getting close to her at the beginning, the other party is not an enemy, but a very good friend who saved her life at the critical moment. If you don't have the elixir of Mu Xiaoming, I'm afraid I'm useless now. Well, Mu Xiaoming felt the change of Cloud Dance's attitude, and was very happy. However, the questions Yunwu asked made him unhappy. He was infected with anger, and his face became very serious. Help you because we have a common enemy. Mu Xiaoming said coldly, his eyes twinkled with hatred. Cloud Dance eyebrows wrinkled. Think carefully, then understand what would Xiaoming means. Cold voice sounded, calm but very confident. Beast Gate? At the moment of blurting out the three words, Mu Xiaoming's body trembled, as if deliberately suppressing the anger in his body. Yunwu looks at him quietly. After a while, Mu Xiaoming finally returned to normal. You have been to the boundary of Mudu, and you must have seen the situation there, too? Mu Xiaoming's voice with a touch of sadness. More is the hatred of being exterminated. It's such a big wood city. I grew up in a place like that overnight. I don't even want to leave a complete house. Every life has to be killed. How can those animals be called human beings? That night, he was sitting alone in a quiet study, and everything was the same outside. But in the middle of the night, the scream and the sound of weapons poking into the body rang. Blood splashed on the window of the study and dyed the window paper red. He quickly went out, but saw that there were bodies everywhere outside, and all the servants and bodyguards in the house were dead and wounded. The black figure seemed to come from hell, with strong momentum, which was far away for him. Seeing his mother die in the hands of the black figure, he rushed to the black figure with a long sword like crazy. With one slap, the man beat him to death. Just when he thought he was going to die in that man's hand, the old slave gave him something and rushed up with the surviving bodyguard. He knew how important the things he was holding in his hand were, and he knew that he was not trying to be brave, so he ran away with his things. Along the way, he was often chased by the people of the Beast Gate, and he worked hard to hide his whereabouts. Until later he saw Yunwu. They appeared in the boundary of Mudu and had a fight with the black figure. He seemed to see the hope and wanted to help Yunwu directly. No matter whether he can kill the man or not, he wants to rush up with all his life, but covering the box in his personal space, he receives a new order. Give the flower of wood pain to the little girl called Yunwu, and help her all the way until she finally comes back here. This is his mission, and only in this way can he avenge his family. Just as he was puzzling about how he could rightfully hand over the rattan flowers to Yunwu, there was a problem with Yunwu's transmission array. Gone? Where am I going to find them? Mu Xiu understood that he was worried about not being found by that person, while looking at the suddenly disappeared transmission array. At this time, he received a new task. Go to the top of the volcano to find Yunwu, and give her the flowers of rattan. Although I don't know why that person knew Yunwu's whereabouts, Mu Xiaoming still went. After that, he got to know Yunwu and followed Yunwu all the time. If it wasn't for Yunwu's strong sense of defense, he would have pushed the boat along the river until Yunwu was brought back to the boundary of Mudu. That's it. Yunwu looks at Mu Xiaoming with an eyebrow. She feels the complex emotions of Mu Xiaoming, but she can't say any more words of comfort. That's it. Mu Xiaoming replied in a low voice. Then he suddenly turned his head, looked at Yunwu and said, "Now you understand? I won't hurt you." Cloud Dance was silent for a long time, and suddenly said, "So you do so much because you have received the task? That man do you want me to avenge the world of Mudu?" Mu Xiaoming definitely nodded and sighed. "Now those people in the Beast Gate are still chasing me. I can't show up in a fair way." "It's you. You've been chased by the Beast Gate for so long, but you dare to fight with them head on. I really admire you." Cloud Dance is not surprised. "Why can't you be fair and above board? They're the ones you can't see. You want to kill me? It's still early. What's more, I've already ordered their lives." Mu Xiaoming was stunned. Then he seemed to suddenly understand something, and his eyes were shining with a brilliant light. "Yes, they can't see the existence of light. Why should I be afraid of them?" A touch of appreciation flashed in Yunwu's eyes. The next moment, Mu Xiaoming went directly to Yunwu and knelt down. "Miss Yunwu." Cloud Dance alone. Don't understand why he suddenly becomes so serious. You know, before in the Mountain Palace, Mu Xiaoming had changed her name to Little Dance. "Miss Cloud Dance, as the young master of the world of Mudu, I ask you that one day you must get rid of the Beast Gate, and avenge those who have been poisoned by the Beast Gate in Mudu and all over the world. I'm willing to follow you forever and go through fire and water without hesitation." The young master of the world of Mudu. Even if the world of Mudu is no longer there, he can call on the heroes by his name alone. As long as Mudu Xiaoming is still alive, it's only a matter of time before he wants to restore his former glory. This oath, from this we can see how heavy it is. Mu Xiaoming made a heavy salute to Yunwu. He looked up and found that Yunwu didn't know when to stand beside him. He didn't bear the salute. The friends I make in Cloud Dance never need to be servile. The cold voice of Cloud Dance rang out, and stopped in Mu Xiaoming's ear. He felt very beautiful. Mu Xiaoming knew it in his heart. Until then, Yunwu regarded herself as her own person, as important as the friend she was looking for. On one side, the three blood corpses curiously looked at the direction of the two people, but they were all shrouded in the barrier, and could not hear what the two people said. It was after Mu Xiaoming and Yunwu looked at each other. Yunwu released the barrier. Mu Xiaoming fell into the memory of hatred and forgot this, but she didn't forget it. She had to be vigilant at any time. After they finished talking, Yunwu took the barrier down with a wave. At the same time, suddenly heard a blood corpse exclaimed, "This man wakes up." Cloud Dance, two people along, hurriedly rushed past, a look, as expected, that the woman lying on the ground leisurely wake up. Mu Xiaoming quickly steps forward and holds her wrist. He feels that the vitality in the woman's body is recovering. He knows that the medicine he used to let her take has worked. He immediately feels relieved. Eat this and you'll recover faster. Mu Xiaoming took out a pill and handed it to the woman. Just wake up. The woman did not respond. The pill in the mouth was swallowed directly. This just carefully looked up a few people. Blood corpse. The sight falls on the blood corpse king's body. The woman directly exclaims. I saw that the woman did a good job of defense in an instant. The purple fighting spirit wrapped her body, and a short dagger appeared directly in the palm of her hand. No, I'm not a blood corpse now. The blood corpse king waved his hand. This woman is so important to Yunwu. What if she doesn't let herself go after offending? So it's better to show weakness. To whom? Blood corpse king. I kill you with a cold drink. The woman, regardless of her newly recovered body, stabbed the bloody corpse king with a dagger. The purple fighting spirit on her body was very dazzling. The blood corpse king quickly retreated. Now he is just a human. Without the support of the black energy, he is just a useless man. How can he be the opponent of this woman? The dagger was about to pierce into the blood corpse king's chest, and a small yellowish shield appeared directly in the blood corpse king's chest. The dagger bang pierced the shield. Women only feel that their arms are numb, but more shocked. The power of the elements? The woman suddenly turns her head and looks at Yunwu. Are you the summoner? Cloud wave a hand, signal blood corpse king back. This just open mouth to say, I saved you, will also be responsible to send you to your husband's side. This is my deal with him. But before that, you need to take care of your body so that you don't have to worry about him and sabotage our deal. Woman along trade? What deal? Cloud Dance looked at the side of the blood corpse group of 3, said. This you will know in the future. These 3 blood corpses have now been restored to the human body, and will never become blood corpses again. You don't have to kill them. Let them live and die. The woman frowned and looked at the blood corpse king, her eyes full of hatred. At the beginning, he sent someone to catch her and throw her into the black pool. Although she fell into a coma, she still had some feelings about what happened outside. I know that the Blood Corpse clan committed many evils, mostly because of the Blood Corpse king. How can she let him go easily? Cloud danced but directly ignored the woman's tangle, turned to look at those blood corpses. Do you know from which place to leave the top of the volcano the fastest? Several blood corpses rushed to reply. I know. After leaving the blood corpse place, keep going east, and you can leave here slowly. Active volcanoes will become extinct volcanoes, and eventually become ordinary mountains. Further east, there will be tribal settlements. The nearest town to the east is Flint, where there are more people. The blood corpses have lived here for a long time, and are very familiar with the surrounding environment. In a few words, they speak out the surrounding environment. Yunwu wants to find someone. If a person doesn't know when to find out, he can tell her where there are more people and find a way there. It's better than Yunwu bumping around like a headless fly. Cloud Dance's eyes stayed on the Blood Corpse King for a moment, and he couldn't help thinking more. I see. You can leave. Cloud Dance's cold voice sounded, plain as if to say a very normal thing. But it sounds like the sound of nature in the ears of those blood corpses. Really? Blood Corpse King first excited voice. Do you really want to let us go? I dance in the clouds and I mean what I say. Cloud Dance coldly said. What you have done before, even if it is 1,000 cuts, is not too much, but since I said that I will let you leave, then I will keep my promise. It's your business to live or die after you leave. I won't interfere anymore. If you want to live, be smart. They will go to more places after that. It would be a burden to take these blood corpses with them all the time. What's more, they can't hear the conversation many times, so it's better to let them go. And along the way, the King of Blood Corpses has always been obedient, without any previous hostility, and he may be able to get better? But that's not something Cloud Dance needs to consider. What do you call it? Without waiting for the reaction of the Blood Corpse King, Yunwu turned her head and looked at the human woman. This woman is very beautiful. She was gentle when she fell asleep, but she became tough when she woke up to see the King of Blood Corpse. Yunwu was impressed by the woman who directly entered the fighting state. Such a woman is exactly what she likes. After all, we have to take her all the way, so it's better to get to know each other. The woman was stunned and looked at Yunwu's eyes. Although she didn't know why Yunwu wanted to release those hateful blood corpses. But also not much to say, can only light answer. Lin Shuitong. Cloud Dance lightly nodded, but found that several blood corpses have not gone, frowned unhappily. If you don't want to go, you don't have to go. Blood Corpse King several talent reaction come over, quickly stand up and say, Go, we will go immediately. Thank you for not killing Miss Yunwu. I will repay you if I have a chance in the future, said. Several blood corpses then hurriedly left. Repay? The Cloud Dance is the corner of the mouth a hook. Did not put on the heart at all. You just let them go? Lin Yuntong frowned and said. A touch of worry flashed in her eyes. These blood corpses commit many crimes. Although I don't know how they became human beings, once they leave like this, maybe someone will be injured in the future. It depends on whether they have the ability to hurt people again. Cloud Dance says softly. Well, anyway they've all left. Let's leave them alone. Mu Xiaoming directly came up and said with a smile, Yuntong? Nice name. My name is Mu Xiaoming. Do you have a good relationship with Xiao Wu? Are you friends? Lin Yuntong was made a blank face. How this just met the man suddenly so enthusiastic. Is Cloud Dance indispensable everywhere? By the way, your body hasn't fully recovered, so your strength can't reach the peak for the time being. It can only reach the present level. Next, we're going to find some friends. Should you join us? Otherwise, it's too dangerous for you to go back alone. And I have to recuperate you slowly along the way, so that your strength can recover. Otherwise, your husband will be very distressed to see you at that time. Mu Xiaoming said a lot which made Lin Yuntong dizzy. Yunwu went to one side and sat down, closed his eyes and said, Have a rest and get ready to go. Mu Xiaoming's excited topic suddenly stopped, and he directly came to Yunwu's side. Let's go? Have you decided where to go next? Flint Town. Yunwu thinks that no matter where they go, they must also be looking for themselves. Like themselves, if something big happens, they will get together to find themselves. Since a person's power is so small, then she will make some good things, let them know where they are. In the distant forest, Shangguan looked coldly at each man and beast in front of him, and his eyes were full of fighting spirit. The woman is sweating and looks shaky. Seeing the warcraft pounce on the woman, accompanied by another hurricane, the woman suddenly changed her face, quickly raised her hand, waved her sword, with a ray of light. Shangguan also rushed forward. Black energy had been accumulating power for a long time, and hit Warcraft's face. Boom! The combination of the two forces is of great power. Straight hit Warcraft rolled back, hit another Warcraft behind him, two rolled far away. The woman looked at Shangguan, her nose was already sweaty, her lips were open, and her brows were tight. Hello, I say. I'm Shangguan. Shangguan grinned. I don't know why the girl came here. The woman snorted and turned her head. Exile? If it wasn't for you, why should I have come here? What do you mean? For him? Shangguan was stunned, but he saw that the woman had started to stab one of the Warcraft. Roar! And there, another Warcraft has been extremely angry, suddenly jumped up and ran towards the woman. Shangguan's toes are light, but his speed is fast. In a twinkling of an eye, he has swept to the woman's side, and the black energy attacks Warcraft fiercely. The Warcraft sent out a hurricane, which was swept by Shangguan. In the twinkling of an eye, Shangguan has come to Warcraft, and the black energy is covered on the palm of his hand. He splits down to the spirit cover of Warcraft. Roar! Only a scream resounded through the forest, and Warcraft fell to the ground. Shangguan was dark in front of his eyes, gritting his teeth and swallowing the blood from his throat. He was about to turn around and help the woman, but he saw that the woman had already killed Warcraft on the ground, and turned to walk towards him. Finally relieved, Shangguan felt his whole heart fell to the ground, grinning at the woman, and finally fell forward in a trance. Hello, the woman had already run in front of her, with a gust of fragrance, and he just felt his body hit the ground, like cotton, and then he didn't know anything. I don't know how long it took until a cool and sweet spring suddenly flowed into my mouth. For a moment, the feeling of hunger spread to the whole body. Pain, also an instant invasion of the whole body, so that he could not help but dull hum, just opened his sour eyes. The temple is aching. When I opened my eyes, I saw that the woman who had saved herself was sitting by her side, pouring a handful of water from a leaf into her mouth. Seeing that he woke up, the woman put down the leaf and turned around. "Awake?" said the woman. Shangguan patted his confused head, sighed and sat up, only to find that it was dark. "How long have I fainted?" He watched the woman turning a large piece of meat on the rising fire. The meat was roasted zizi sound, bursts of meat flavor, light into Shangguan's nose, suddenly let his stomach issue a grunt sound. "Puff chi, eh?" The woman couldn't help laughing out of a voice, reflected in the side of the fire face. "Beautiful, let Shangguan can't help a lung. Immediately also smile. Sorry, too hungry, dare to ask the girl's name?" The woman glanced at him and continued to roast the meat in front of him. "My name is Mu Yunling." "It's a man as his name is." The Shangguan looked at Mu Yunling's side face and praised him sincerely. "You haven't told me who you are and why you're here?" Mu Yunling Dao. In his eyes, in fact, he was suspicious of this sudden person. Shangguan couldn't help scratching his head. After thinking for a long time, he gave a bitter smile. "Who knows, my friend and I were separated, and they were suddenly sent here. And then they were attacked by all kinds of warcraft inexplicably." I couldn't help sighing. "Miss Muyun, what is this place?" Around him, Mu Yunling turned his head suspiciously and looked at Shangguan. For a long time, it seemed that he could not see Shangguan's flaws, so he turned his lips. He turned his head, took out a knife from his waist, cut the meat on the branch into 2 parts, put one part on the leaf and handed it to Shangguan. "Are you going to go back to your friends next?" Mu Yunling opened his mouth and bit down a piece of meat. He vomited twice because it was too hot. He turned his head and looked at Shangguan. Shangguan was already hungry, so whether it was hot or not, he took it in his mouth and wolfed it down. Hot suction slipped for a long time, finally said, "I do not know where I am now, the specific location of friends, so I do not know where to go." "Well, that's it." Mu Yunling nodded thoughtfully. He bit off a small piece of meat and chewed it carefully in his mouth. It seemed that he thought for a long time before he said slowly, "Otherwise, you can go back to the tribe with me. I'll ask my father, he may have a way." This sentence made Shangguan overjoyed. "Really?" He jumped up fiercely, but he was involved in his injury. He took a breath of cold air and sat back on the ground. "But do you believe me so much and take me back to the tribe?" Mu Yunling turned his head, turned his big white eyes and sneered. "With your current physical condition, I'm not afraid to take 10 back. What's more, if you have any plans, I'm afraid I'll have to do it when I save you. Why do you still want to help me even if you are seriously injured?" Listen. Shangguan blushed a little embarrassed and said with a smile, "That's not because you saved me." "Don't laugh, I didn't praise you." Mu Yunling pouts. "Bite off a piece of meat," vaguely said. "Besides, you are now so seriously injured. I put you here, that is not to save it. I finally saved the people. Do not give me when cattle horse for a few months. I am not in vain to save." Shangguan couldn't laugh or cry. He really met a strange man. Luck energy in his body circulation circle found that his body injury has improved a lot, cannot help but some surprise. He turned his head and looked at Xiang Mu Yunling with a smile. "Thank you." Mu Yunling turned his mouth and did not look at him. He continued to bite the meat in his mouth. On the other side, Situlan's face was pale. Looking at everything in front of him, he was a little reluctant. In front of a large area of deep sea, a huge warcraft is trapped in the middle by a group of sharks. The warcraft is angry and roaring. Waves of swing their bodies, stirring waves in the water. Situlan swallowed his saliva, which was really magnificent. He was in a hurry to avoid the huge wave. Situlan intended to flash to one side. But I found a piece of rock and plant in front of me. Except for the vast sea area in front of me, there was no way out. Situlan gritted her teeth. "I really don't know what to do. If you want to leave the sea, you have to pass between the group of chimeras and warcraft." Situlan sighed and fell down slowly. He sat down beside a stone. He plans to sit on the mountain to watch the tiger fight, and then wait until the end of their fight, quietly pass through a few people. Thinking about this, I saw a huge open field in the deep sea, and countless people were fighting a warcraft. There were howls coming from the mouth of warcraft. Situlan was worried. Naturally, he wanted to leave here very much, but the two sides didn't plan to stop at all, and couldn't see which aspect was going to win. Situlan couldn't help frowning. If he put it on the ground, the number of people would catch up with the First World War. In the face of such a warcraft, how to say, the chance of winning would be greatly reduced. So thinking, Situlan began to hesitate whether he wanted to help. But after looking at his present appearance, he gave a wry smile and sat back. Yes, I'm not good at what I'm doing underwater. No matter who I help, I have no advantage at all. If something goes wrong here, there will be no way to come back to you. He sighed in his heart and looked around. He thought, maybe we can find an exit in the rock behind. All of a sudden, his eyes brightened, because he saw a light spot on the top of the rock. He didn't know where to go up from here, or how high it was from the ground. However, it seems to be the only choice at present. So he dragged his tired body and swam up. Gradually, the sound of fighting became smaller behind him. Situlan was excited. He even felt that he could see the sunshine again. But all of a sudden, a huge shadow came down from above. Before Situlan had time to respond, he just felt a strong current of water coming towards him. Then, like a leaf, he was photographed to the wrong direction until he hit the rock and finally stopped. Grinned, Situlan looked to avoid water drop. Still intact, this just vomited a breath. He raised his head and looked at the shadow just now, which made his face change. In front, a huge four-legged warcraft swam towards itself. Damn it, Situlan quickly prepared to gather energy to resist, but heard a burst of noise below, and then countless people swam up from the bottom of the water. As soon as Situlan let off all his strength, he leaned against the rock and patted his chest. Wait, who are you? Suddenly, a shark appeared in front of him, pointing to Situlan with a weapon. Although chimeras are more ferocious in nature, they live on the seafloor and rarely see human beings. In addition, their eyes can be turned into gems, which are expensive. Many people have decided to make money on chimeras. In the territory of the chimera, a stranger suddenly appeared, which made all the chimeras alert. Situlan's heart sank, and the secret way was bad. Now it's just the time when the shark people are in danger, and he will certainly take himself as a threat. I'm afraid it's useless to explain again. Thinking about this, he suddenly reached out and grabbed the shark's weapon, pulled him over and slashed him on the neck. The shark had already fainted before he could say a word. However, the sound of questioning just now has attracted people's attention, and there are several people coming here in all directions. It's broken. Situlan clenched his teeth, stepped on his feet, and swam up quickly. Who is it? Stop behind him, the chimera suddenly cried out and surrounded Situlan. As a human, he didn't swim as fast as the chimera. Soon, a chimera had grabbed Situlan's foot, raised his hand and cut him with a knife. Situlan quickly avoids, kicks the shark, grabs his hand, turns around and continues to go upstream. The shark also pursued after Situlan. Situlan was very sorry for the shark in his heart, but he knew that he couldn't stay. If he was caught by the shark, he would have to ask for a long time, turn around and release an energy in the direction of the shark. All of a sudden, a wave of water attacked the shark. With this help, Situlan sprinted up for a long time. Ooh! Situlan wiped the cold sweat on his forehead. Being attacked by Situlan, the chimera became more angry and called countless chimeras around them to besiege Situlan. Phew! A shark swims fast and cuts towards Situlan. His strength is extremely strong. Situlan's action in the water was difficult. He couldn't deal with it flexibly, so he had to turn around and try to avoid it. Unexpectedly, the knife fell on his own bead. The water escape beads broke into pieces and scattered in the sea. It's broken. Situlan saw that the sea was surging towards him, but he had no protection to avoid water drops. After drinking 2 mouthfuls of salty sea water, he choked into his nose and lungs, which made him frown. But he still kept his mind and hastened to go upstream. But he didn't stick to it for long. Soon, his lungs seemed to explode, and even his head was swelling. He felt that he had reached the limit. Hurry up. Situlan prayed silently in his heart and continued to go upstream. Suddenly, Situlan finally saw the faint light on the water and was overjoyed. However, he has gradually lost his strength. Lack of oxygen makes his hands and feet stiff. He opens his eyes, but his consciousness has gradually pulled away from his body. No, I can't die here. Situlan was struggling in his heart. He tried to move his hands and feet, but gradually, his eyes were dark, and the pain in his lungs disappeared suddenly. He closed his eyes and breathed out his last breath. On the top of the volcano, a huge eagle flies high. On his back, 3 figures stood on the top, looking around at the situation below. The terrain here has really changed. After a long time, we are finally leaving that place. Mu Xiaoming sighed. He grew up in the boundary of the wood capital, where the climate is pleasant and the wood elements are very abundant. All kinds of vegetation cover the boundary of the wood capital. When did he go to such a place where there is no grass? I didn't expect that it would be so long in a blink of an eye. Lin Yintong also said in a very gentle voice. When I was asleep, I knew it had been a long time outside, but I didn't expect that I had been sleeping so long, and I didn't know what happened to him. Now Lin Yintong has learned a lot from Mu Xiaoming. She knows all about why they saved themselves and what deal Yunwu has with Xueyin. We stopped directly in Flint Town. According to the Blood Corpse King, now the terrain has changed, and it will be there in half a day. Yunwu looks at the changing terrain around, from the fiery red ground on the top of the volcano to desert, and finally to more and more lush forest. When you get to Flint, the first thing is to have a good meal. Mu Xiaoming directly lay down on Jinling's back. I haven't had anything to eat after so many days in this broken place. I've been greedy for a long time. Cloud Dance glanced at him. Why didn't you complain when eating snake meat? Mu Xiaoming grinned. Except for the snake meat you gave me, I can't eat anything else. Yunwu turned his head and ignored him. Since that day, Mu Xiaoming became more wordy. He made no secret of his purpose and was full of good words all day. Jinling faster. The cloud dances and the cold voice rings out. At the foot, Jinling called, and the speed increased a few minutes. Finally, after 2 hours, Jinling stopped flying. The 3 jumped from Jinling's back and landed on the edge of a forest. Not far away, it's a slightly larger town. Yunwu takes Jinling into the space, and then flies to the town with the other 2 people. But in a moment, we arrived at the gate of the town. The walls here are all red? Standing at the gate of the city, Mu Xiaoming looks up at the town in surprise. Compared with the solitude on the top of the volcano before, people here are very busy. It's like Flint. Lin Yintong suddenly said that she had been to many places with Xueyin, so she knew many things that others didn't know and had a lot of insight. Flint is a special product of volcano, which contains abundant fire elements. If there is a summoner of fire element, it is said that this was once the place where a fire element summoner stayed, so it is called Flint Town. After Lin Yintong's explanation, Yunwu and Mu Xiaoming nodded thoughtfully. So if I practice here, I will get twice the result with half the effort. Mu Xiaoming said in surprise. Lin Yintong nodded. It's true. Yunwu was also excited, but he thought that his trip was not for fun, and there were more important things to do, so he said, Don't get excited, go in and have a look. Several people entered the city back and forth. Sure enough, as soon as I stepped into Flint Town, I felt a strong fire element coming. But it's different from being on top of a volcano. At the top of the volcano, the smell is hot and it is easy to burn people, but here is a rich element of fire. If you are a fire element summoner, you will feel very comfortable. For example, Mu Xiaoming at this time. I really want to stay here all the time. It's so comfortable. It's much better than the top of the volcano. Mu Xiaoming said with a look of enjoyment. Cloud Dance didn't answer his words, but frowned and looked at the people around. Do you find it strange? Cloud Dance says. How come all the people here go out? Is there a big deal? Would Xiaoming alone have not yet reaction come over what meaning? The other side of Lin Yintong once again opened a mouth. Not only that. Normally, it's just a small town. There shouldn't be so many experts here, but here. Lin Yintang didn't say anything after that. According to her current strength, I can't feel the strength of those people, but Yunwu and Mu Xiaoming can. There are too many masters in this town, and in the perception of cloud dance, there are 3 Wuzong. It's not normal for this small town. Find a place to rest first, and then make a good inquiry. Cloud Dance said. Now that I'm here and I've come across such a big event, I naturally want to step in. Maybe other people will get the news? The 3 found an inn together and went straight in. Then he went downstairs to find a place to sit down, and ordered some food at will. Mu Xiaoming wolfed down as if he hadn't eaten anything good for hundreds of years, and soon he was swept away. A few people eat very fast, but a moment later, ordered a table to eat, then all solved. Mu Xiaoming asked for tea again. While they were drinking tea leisurely, they listened to the people around them talking, hoping to see if they could get some useful information. I'll tell you, the Lord of Bailey City has also come this time. I see that other people have no hope at all. A big man said. What? Even he's here? I say you, there are more powerful experts in this city recently. I heard that the city leader is in the realm of Wuzong. Another man frowned and said, with those Wuzong present, it's not easy for others to get that thing again. Well, that's not necessarily true. Their conversation was heard by people at another table. Then they came to them with a wine bowl, and said in a loud voice, this is a rare battle for treasure. It said that it's a cave left by the former summoner. There are many treasures in it. Although the powerful summoner is not rare, it's all treasures for us. We'll get rich if we get any of them. No matter how powerful those people are, they can't occupy all of them, can they? That is, we have no ambition as long as we can take 1 or 2 pieces and sell them for $2. That most valuable treasure, we can die to covet. Cloud Dance. 3 people have not spoken all the time. Those a few people talk for a long time will be the whole and people involved in the topic. Obviously everyone knows this thing. At present, Yunwu few people are no longer silent. Mu Xiaoming took the teacup and walked up with a smile. I don't know what the most valuable thing you said? Mu Xiaoming was very elegant and had a harmless smile on his face. He didn't look like a master at all. When he asked this, the men were stunned, and then burst into a burst of laughter. Ha 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 boy, do you want to covet that baby? Didn't you hear that? This time Wuzong intervened. You are so thin that you can't get it even if you go. In the end, you will offend those people. I advise you to stop, just like us, and make some money. Other people are also full of ridicule. Do not pay any attention to him. You are joking. I just passed by and heard you talk about it. I was just curious for a moment. How can I really rob you? Mu Xiaoming was not angry, and continued to talk to them. Oh, it's an outsider. The first big man said, looking up and down at Mu Xiaoming. You don't look like a man of cultivation. You must be really just curious. I'll tell you. Yunwu and Lin Yintang also turned around and listened. This flint town used to be a place where the summoner stayed, and the place where the summoner once practiced was in the Warcraft forest outside the town. There was a place for him to practice. Later, I don't know why, the summoner came back here seriously and finally died there. This has always been a legend of Flint Town. No one knows where the place is. 3 days ago, there was a wave of energy in the Warcraft forest. When the Lord sent someone to look at it, he found that an ancient tomb hidden in the space appeared. Only then did he know that it was the place where the summoner had stayed. Mu Xiaoming was surprised. What else? Then why didn't the city master go in at that time? The big man shook his head. You don't know. That summoner is proficient in array, so there must be mechanism array everywhere in that tomb. It may trigger the array and send you to a messy place. You can't come back in your life. And that summoner is the summoner of fire element and space element. No one dares to go in for the first-class use of space. But the good things inside are still very attractive. Good thing. What can attract so many people? Mu Xiaoming asked. The big man laughed. I'm afraid it's the inheritance of the summoner. Unfortunately, after so many years, no new summoner has appeared, let alone the dual summoner. Even if everyone goes in, they won't get the inheritance. Mu Xiaoming's heart moved. But when he heard that only the dual summoner could get the inheritance, he immediately felt very lost. Then he thought, isn't Cloud Dance okay? If Cloud Dance can be inherited, won't it be more confident to deal with the Beast Gate? Since we can't get that inheritance, why are we still flocking to it? You don't know that. Although we can't get the inheritance of the summoner, the jade plate carrying the inheritance has great power, and it can also enhance the strength of a large part. And maybe you can get some guidance from the spirit of the summoner. At that time, the future is limitless. Yes, it's just a pity that the people who come here this time are also the leaders of the main cities. It is said that their strength is not weak, and that thing is destined to be theirs. Alas. The other one came up and shook his head. Wuxia brightened his eyes and said, I don't know when the tomb will open. Now it's the 4th day that the tomb appears. In 3 days, the team will gather. At that time, under the leadership of several city masters, they will organize experts to break the boundary outside the tomb, and everyone will be able to enter the tomb to look for treasures. At the end of his speech, Mu Xiaoming gave a thank you and went back to his desk. Those people continued to discuss the treasures and speculate about what might be inside. After listening for a while, the 3 people on Mu Xiaoming's side decided that there was no useful news, so they went back to their room together. Xiaowu, will you go to that treasure contest? Mu Xiaoming went directly into the room of Cloud Dance and said excitedly, Do you hear the inheritance of the summoner? You should be able to accept that inheritance? If you can get it, your strength will be improved a lot. Cloud Dance helplessly looking at him. Clearly is the wood all of the boundary of Little Lord. Unexpectedly so sink not live gas. But looking at his expectant eyes, Yunwu nodded and said, I will definitely go. Let's not talk about the attraction of inheritance to me. In such a prosperous age, I must be able to make friends with many people. Make friends? Mu Xiaoming was stunned. When are you interested in making friends? Cloud Dance white he one eye, is not interested in making friends, I just need some local influential people, help me find people. As soon as Yunwu said this, Mu Xiaoming understood it. Originally, to participate in the battle for treasure is just to better find friends. It seems that those friends are really important to her. Mu Xiaoming sighed. If you can't find your friends, I'm afraid you'll be crazy. Yunwu smiles and doesn't speak. Looking out of the window, I wonder if I'll meet them in such a prosperous age. I haven't heard from them for so long, and I don't know what happened to them. Mu Xiaoming's eyes are floating on Yunwu's body. Although he also wants to help Yunwu to ask where those people are, I'm afraid he won't get the answer even if he asks. It's enough to know that they are all alive and scattered in different places. To this day, he still does not completely tell the whole truth to Yunwu. Or say, there is a part of the truth that even he does not know. Cloud Dance, they seem to fall into a big net. Everyone is constantly honing themselves in this net, working towards the goal. The top of the volcano, the largest volcano, the white figure gradually emerged. The hot magma is eroding towards the figure, but it can't get close at all. That white figure, a light around the body, after so long time, finally completely integrated into the body. When the light coincides with the body, a strong breath comes out directly. The pressure of forcing people to sweep out, with the volcano as the center, pouring in all directions, like a god from the sky. Let every creature on the top of the volcano feel the pressure. Even some close, even directly creeping on the ground. The body faint tremor. Wuling realm. The white figure in the invisible pressure center. Even the magma under the body also dare not close. The whole person seems to be directly suspended in the air. When the prestige reached the top, the figure instantly opened his eyes. A pair of eyes bright to the extreme. Handsome and coquettish face, such as flawless, but also incomparably handsome. Thin lips like a knife cut. Black hair down spread out, scattered a few strands floating in front of the chest, for the white man added a bit more evil. Long Qingxia's eyes looked up at the sky, his eyes were affectionate, his lips were thin, and his voice was very charming. Little thing, are you in a hurry? Weifu is coming to you. Warcraft Forest. Shengguan asked for nothing. He touched his nose and was silent. They ate the meat in their hands silently, and no one spoke anymore. For a long time. Until the flame has burned out. Shengguan was already sleepy on the tree. He turned to see Mu Yunling beside him, and found that she was still holding her sword, sitting on one side and looking at the sky, as if she didn't feel tired at all. Shengguan just wanted to ask Mu Yunling if he wanted to have a rest, but suddenly he heard Mu Yunling say faintly, "Don't talk too much if you are seriously injured. Go to bed quickly. I'll watch the night, and we'll start tomorrow morning." Helpless, Shengguan had to sit under the tree, looking at his feet in a daze. But looking at the woman who seemed to be on a par with himself, Shengguan was full of doubts and didn't know how to say it. However, even if he was sleepy and couldn't sleep, he scratched his head and sat up with a sigh. "I said, Miss Mu, you said it's because of me. Why are you here?" Mu Yunling turned his head, glanced at the Shengguan, then turned to look at the sky. He seemed to be impatient. "Is it good for you to ask so many questions? But you know all about me, and I don't know anything about you. I'm worried that you sold me to someone else as a coolie when I was seriously injured." Mu Yunling was so angry that he couldn't speak. He swallowed his saliva and stared at Shengguan for a long time. Then he said leisurely, "I just want to sell you to be a coolie. What can you do for me?" But with a bitter smile. How can this girl change her face faster than turning a book? If this rhythm goes on, it's hard to say whether she wants to be fooled by applause. That girl, it's like this. My friends and I have been sent to places I don't know. I want to find them. I want to ask you if there is any transmission array here. Maybe. Before she finished speaking, Mu Yunling had closed her eyes. Of course, she didn't really want to sleep, but she was saying that she didn't want to listen to you. Shengguan choked for a long time, then finally sighed and looked up at the sky. "What kind of people will you meet tomorrow? Will you encounter any unexpected events? Will you encounter the pursuit of the beast gate in my heart? I feel a little uneasy, but I can't resist the security of having someone around me in this primeval forest. I can't stand the heavy eyelids. Gradually, the whole person is to go to consciousness, sleep in the past. When I woke up again, I was pulled up from the ground by Mu Yunling. Before I could open my eyes, I felt a chill around me. Then with a crash, his face was poured into the cold river. Suddenly, Shengguan jumped up from the ground. "Hello," I said. "Miss Min, you are wrong." While criticizing Mu Yunling, Shengguan plans to wipe the water on his face with his hand, but suddenly finds out. "When was my hand tied?" He raised his head and looked at Mu Yunling in shock, but saw that Mu Yunling grinned and glanced behind him. Shengguan swallowed and couldn't help looking behind him. Behind him stood 3 big men, all with long swords and a cold face. These 3 big men, tall, covered all the sunshine around the Shengguan, which made him feel ashamed. "Good morning." Shengguan said hello with a smile, but his heart could not help surging. "What's going on? Why? What happened?" Shengguan was tied, turned his head and looked at Mu Yunling for no reason. He raised his eyebrow and asked, "What does that mean? I don't understand." It's just that they thought you were bullying me." Mu Yunling lowered his head, very embarrassed, blushing. "I bully you? I bully you? Why should I bully you?" Shengguan wailed and struggled twice. "I found that these 2 men must be practitioners, and this binding technique is unique. I only feel a pain in my hand. It seems that the rope is made of special, with his strength struggling for a long time, but still motionless." I told them. Mu Yunling blinked a pair of watery eyes and looked at Shengguan pitifully. "I'll go. This girl is not easy to provoke. Wait a minute. It was so majestic yesterday. Where is it today?" "No, why?" Shengguan was puzzled. But before Mu Yunling could reply, the 2 men behind him had already picked him up and threw him into a carriage. Another man took Mu Yunling to another carriage, and then the 2 carriages bumped forward on the road. Sitting in the carriage, the Shengguan kept silent and lowered his head. 2 big men sat beside him and looked at him without blinking, which made him very angry. Can't help shouting, "Hello! Don't look at me all the time. It's like you're in love with me." The 2 men frowned and seemed to be displeased. They raised their fists and motioned to Shengguan that if they were not honest, they would be beaten. Shengguan was very depressed. He became a flower gatherer for no reason. He was bound and sent to the tribe for trial, which made everyone feel very uncomfortable. But now, I'm afraid no one is too lazy to listen to his explanation. Thinking about this, he simply closed his eyes and soon fell asleep. It was not until he was picked up again that Shangguan opened his eyes. Before he could see what kind of tribe it was, he was pushed into a room by two big men and slammed the door. Shangguan immediately felt that the whole person was not good. It was an open-air cell, which was placed in the middle of a square. Around them were plain-looking people in coarse linen. They pointed at the Shangguan one by one, and seemed to be talking about something. What's the matter with this? It's strange for the people of this tribe to have such differential treatment. Shangguan is still murmuring. I don't know why. In a moment. But I saw Mu Yunling led by an old man and came this way. The old man was dignified, frowning, with his hands on his back, followed by 6 soldiers with weapons, and his face was serious. The cells were gradually surrounded by villagers. You are the one who defiled my daughter? The old man was standing on the edge of the cell. Some soldiers had moved the chair over. The old man sat directly opposite Shangguan and looked at Shangguan. Shangguan was stunned. He didn't know what he was doing. He looked at the old man in front of him, and Mu Yunling beside him. Defile? What do you mean? Mu Yunling stood beside the old man, but lowered her head and didn't look at Shangguan's face at all. Therefore she couldn't see Shangguan's face. Tell me why you're sullying my daughter. The old man was very angry. Looking at Shangguan's confused face, there was a green fight in his palm. Ah! With the scream of Mu Yunling, he attacked the Shangguan in the prison. Shangguan was tied with both arms and seriously injured, so he had no time to dodge. He got a hard hit from the old man, and his blood suddenly surged up. A mouthful of blood gushed out, and he fell to the ground and couldn't get up. Do you think you can bully anyone? It's not good or bad. The voice of the old man made all the people around him dare not speak. The onlookers seemed to be more noisy, and countless voices of abnormal and sex wolf came to the ears of Shangguan from all directions. Shangguan felt as if there was a stone in his heart. He couldn't spit it out and swallow it. He was so miserable that he bit his teeth and didn't say a word. His chest seemed to explode, which made his eyes black. However, in front of Mu Yunling's eyes with tears, let him how also hate. That I seems to say to him, in fact things are not like this, I do not want such a result. Suddenly I feel a little miserable. Shangguan can't help grinning. He usually talks a lot of nonsense, but now he doesn't want to say anything. He lies on the ground, letting people around him point out. You take care of him, shut him up for a day, and decide what to do with him tomorrow. The old man said seriously. Several soldiers around answered yes. So the old man got up and took Mu Yunling back. Mu Yunling couldn't help looking back at the cell. Tears in his eyes could not stop flowing down. Until evening, no one came to see Shangguan. He lay on the ground, closed his eyes and never got up. His health was getting worse and worse. If he knew that it would be like this, he might as well have been bitten to death by the warcraft in the wild. Now it seems that death is not far away. Thinking about this, I suddenly heard someone call his name softly. Shangguan breathed out. You don't have to think about it. In this tribe only Mu Yunling knows his name. Other people don't know who he is. So it must be Mu Yunling who hides behind him. Shangguan, are you awake? Mu Yunling squatted behind the wooden prison and asked quietly. Shangguan didn't care about her. He simply closed his eyes and pretended that he hadn't woken up. Behind him, Mu Yunling sighed. His voice seemed very disappointed and anxious. Shangguan, are you doing anything now? I'm really worried about you, that I know you're angry about this strange thing today. After a long silence, Shangguan felt very angry. He wanted to stand up and make a theory. Who, a normal man, would be happy to be charged with such a crime? But you know, if I don't say that, you may have been eaten by warcraft now. Mu Yunling curled his mouth, and the voice sounded very crooked. Because our Xingyu tribe is fighting with the nearby Yu tribe, we don't know what everyone is from. If I rashly take you back to the tribe, you will be killed by random sticks. Shangguan's heart moved. That's why. No wonder Mu Yunling would say that. Suddenly, his heart relaxed a lot. But the doubt came again. In this case, I'm afraid I can't wash myself when I jump into the swamp. Behind him, Mu Yunling took out a bottle from his clothes, put it on the ground with a clatter, and untied the Shangguan's hands. After a long silence, he finally said, "This is the Huishan pill I stole from my father. It's for your healing. This pill is very precious. There are only 2 pills left. My father hurt you. I'll apologize to you. Take care of yourself. I'll explain it to my father clearly, so you don't have to worry. I'll see you tomorrow," said behind Dada footsteps sound up, and then gradually smaller, and finally completely disappeared. Shangguan vomited and finally opened his eyes. There was no hatred in his eyes. "I see. If only you had explained it to me earlier." Then he sat up and took the small porcelain bottle from behind. Open, a strong fragrance of medicine overflowed from the bottle. Immediately let Shangguan brain a burst of fresh. Even the chest injury feel a lot less pain. It's really a good thing. In front of his eyes, Shangguan poured out the pill, raised his hand and fed it into his mouth. He raised his head and swallowed it. Suddenly, straight down from the throat, gradually melting into a warm current, all the way to the lower abdomen. 3 days passed quickly. In the early morning of that day, Yunwu woke up from the cultivation state. After entering the realm of Wuzong, the improvement of strength is slower, and it is often impossible to make much progress in the whole day of cultivation. But the cultivation is not urgent, only a little accumulation. Yunwu opens the window and looks at the street outside. A large number of strong people keep pouring out of the city. There is only one direction for them, the summoner's tomb. Long Qingxia, will you show up? Cloud Dance silently thought of in the heart. Faintly, unexpectedly some look forward to the next treasure fight. The door of the room was knocked and Yunwu whispered, "Come in." Little Dance, are you ready?" Would Xiaoming, a face excited, rushed into the room, followed by Lin Yuntong, 2 people a front and a back into the room of Cloud Dance. Mu Xiaoming came to Yunwu and looked out of the window like her. He saw the sea of people rushing out of the city. The noise resounded in every corner of Huashi town. Mu Xiaoming's hearing is excellent. From time to time, 1 or 2 words pop out and come into his ears. When he mentions summoner, everyone's face is full of longing and yearning. Mu Xiaoming grinned. I don't know what their reaction would be if they knew that a summoner would appear today. This time, several Wuzong went, as we all know. I'm afraid that there will be more powerful people. Lin Yuntong also went to the bedside. Heard someone talk about the strength of the several city masters. Can't help saying. Cloud Dance nodded. The strength of Wuzong can come out so many people at a time, so it's not strange to come out 1 or 2 more Wudi. But Yunwu is not worried. She has been in the realm of Emperor Wu for some time. Although she is not the top, she is confident that in the realm of Emperor Wu, the General Emperor Wu will not be her opponent at all. Time's up. It's time for us to go too. Cloud Dance finally took a look at the crowd below, turned to the 2 people around and said, "If you go too late, you'll have to squeeze together with other people at that time, which will inevitably affect your action." Mu Xiaoming and Lin Yuntong nodded. And then the 3 followed the army out of the gate and moved toward the outside of the city. They didn't know where the tomb was, but all of them were in the same direction. Even if they didn't know before, they could find it by following the crowd. Cloud Dance 3 people talk and laugh. It doesn't look like they are going to fight for the baby. The road attracted people's attention. When I got to the forest, I obviously felt that there were fewer people. I thought there were so many people going. I just wanted to see the excitement. Mu Xiaoming looked at those who stopped outside the forest, felt their strength, and said, "After all, it's too dangerous. No matter how attractive the treasure is, you have to save your life." Lin Yuntong said. She is a samurai. Before entering the forest, she entered the fighting state, wearing a water blue combat suit, which made her always gentle, a little more tough. When you enter the forest, you will walk further and further inside, for fear that you will meet all kinds of people. At that time, in the face of the huge treasures in the tomb, I'm afraid that someone will have evil intentions. Cloud Dance cold voice says, that kind of circumstance is certain to meet. But looking at Mu Xiaoming's appearance, that he is sure to succeed in the inheritance, and even Lin Yuntong is still very gentle in the battle. Yunwu thinks it's better to explain himself. Don't worry, little dance. We know that. Let's go. We'll follow you. Mu Xiaoming said seriously, but the excitement in his eyes could not be concealed. Although I can't get the inheritance, I feel even more excited when I think of Cloud Dance. The strength of the three people is much stronger than that of the people around them, so although they didn't deliberately speed up, they are very fast compared with those people, and they soon surpass many people all the way. Although Yunwu doesn't want to cause trouble, it doesn't mean other people think so. Those three people in front, stop for me. The arrogant voice rings out. The Cloud Dance's three people only to call others, did not care. The footstep does not stop at the foot, continue to talk and laugh forward. Asshole. I didn't understand, did I? The arrogant voice sounded again. This time, a strong breath directly from behind towards the middle of the cloud attack in the past. Yunwu's face sank and his figure did not move. The purple fighting spirit floated on the surface and directly blocked the attack. The purple light flickered so fast that people around thought they were dazzled, but still some people cried out in shock. Purple fighting spirit. A man pointed to Cloud Dance in shock and said that his eyes were full of disbelief. True or false? The other one didn't see it, so he quickly asked, Are you wrong? How is purple fighting possible? Really? That's the woman. For a moment, the eyes of all the people around were on Yunwu. Cloud Dance frowned. Originally intended to go quietly toward the depths, in the end or attracted attention. People around the eyes from the initial shock to later fear, and then slowly turned into a defensive. Mu Xiaoming felt those people's eyes and his face sank in an instant. There is only one goal for these people. That is the treasure in the grave. If more people go in, the treasure will get less points. If the person who goes in is a strong one, then that person is doomed to be the target of public criticism. They dare not and can't stir up masters like the city master. But they dare to deal with people like Yunwu who don't know their specific strength and have no reputation. Yunwu coldly looks at the expression changes of the people around her, and knows that she is too clumsy to hide. Unexpectedly, she lets these people have an idea about her. I advise you, little girl. The grave is very dangerous. You'd better go home and don't come out to do these dangerous things. Yes, little girl, it's too dangerous in there. If you break your arm and leg when you come out and go back, your family will be worried. Baby is good, but you have to have your life to get it. People around have different opinions, as if they are thinking about Cloud Dance. But the eyes were full of warnings. If they are afraid of the strength of Cloud Dance, they are shocked by the purple fighting spirit. But when they see that so many people around them are the same as themselves, they regard Cloud Dance as a thorn in the flesh, and that fear disappears. As if they have the strength to make threats. Yunwu looks at them coldly, taking a panoramic view of those people's looks. It seems that they are afraid that you are stronger than them and will rob their property. Mu Xiaoming stands beside Yunwu and looks at the people around him casually. Go, leave them alone. Cloud Dance's cold voice to say, then turn round to fly toward the deep place directly. Mu Xiaoming and Lin Yuntong, two people closely follow up. Stop. Stop them at this time. The person who had been fighting against Yunwu not only didn't leave, but also speeded up the speed and flew to the depth, so he directly glared and roared. People around have formed a tacit understanding. They all acquiesce that Yunwu can't pass through. Someone has been standing in front of Yunwu for a long time to stop her from going deep. As soon as Yunwu's face sank and his palm turned, the ancient sword appeared directly in his palm, but there was no black flame on it. As soon as the ancient martial arts sword appeared, many people's eyes lit up. Staring at the sword on Yunwu's palm, they showed greedy eyes. Yunwu naturally felt it, and her eyes were cold. Coveting his weapons? Also want to see if you have that ability. With a wave of his arm, Guwu's big knife cut directly at the people who were standing in front of him on the ground. Hand up, knife down. The back of the knife heavily lifted him out, heavily hit the side of the tree. Bone came click sound. If it were not for Yunwu's mercy, all those people would have died at this time. Tut tut, I'm really out of my ability. If I don't weigh each other's strength, I won't be in the front. I dare to stop the way of little dance. Mu Xiaoming stood with his arms in his arms to watch the excitement, shaking his head and saying to those people who fell to the ground and were humming. Yunwu stood in place and didn't speak, his eyes moved coldly in the surrounding crowd. To defeat so many heroes in one move, those who covet the cloud dance weapons have some convergence, but still a large part of them are still looking at the cloud dance sword. A move. As long as a move, it must be the reason of the knife, will defeat those people. If you can own the knife, it will be much more powerful. It's an idea in almost everyone's mind, and it's obvious that more and more people have this idea, and they don't hide their salivation. Cloud Dance sneered. Looking at those staring at their wounded weapons, cold voice sounded. And he said, "You want my weapon? If you have the guts, come." The words of Cloud Dance, like a bomb, were thrown into the crowd, and instantly ignited the desire of countless people. Go! How powerful can this little girl film be? I think it's all because of her hands. Yes. Let's get rid of her so that we can go to the grave, or it will be too late. Yes, let's go. As if a consensus had been reached, a group of people flashed greedy eyes directly toward Yunwu. I'll help her. Lin Yuntong said that he quickly lit up his weapon and wanted to go up. No. Mu Xiaoming stretched out his hand and stopped her directly. These little soldiers and shrimps are not the opponents of Xiaowu at all. If she can't even deal with these people, there's no need to mention those who are better than grave babies. After listening to Mu Xiaoming, Lin Yuntong stops, but still frowns and looks at the people who are fighting in the field. Cloud Dance seems to be scared silly, as if do not know how to act. Those people who covet the ancient martial arts sword come directly, but Yunwu has been standing in the same place without action. Finally, the first person came in front of him with a sneer, and his body moved directly to the man's back. His hand fell, and he cut his right arm on the bearer's shoulder. Ah! Cried the man, as if he had seen something terrible. Why is it so fast? But without waiting for him to think about why, Yunwu had already kicked him out, turned around and rushed to the next target. The screams resound in the forest. Yunwu is like a murderer. He sees blood on everyone, but he doesn't kill anyone. Those who rushed over later had already regretted it. Looking at the action of Cloud Dance, they were so dazzled that they couldn't tell where they were. The feeling of terror swept everyone's heart, and then looked at the Cloud Dance eyes full of panic, did not expect that such a young girl should have such a terrible strength. Yunwu's action finally stopped, and many figures were lying beside him. All of them were people who didn't want to rush up. Cloud Dance cold vision swept around the people. Swept people cannot help but play a shiver. Those who had been scrambling to snatch the ancient sword stopped one after another, hoping to get further away from Yunwu. Although people on the ground are seriously injured, their strength will be affected even if they are saved. Cloud Dance is merciless. It's the biggest concession to let them live. If you dare to covet her things, you should do well in this kind of consciousness. Anybody else want it? Cloud Dance coldly said, with the internal power to spread out the sound, so that all the people present can clearly hear. The voice seemed to come from hell, and no one dared to answer her. With a sneer, Yunwu turns around and beckons to Mu Xiaoming and Lin Yuntong. They fly to the depths together. This time, no one dared to stop her. You beat them so badly that you are not afraid of revenge. Mu Xiaoming comes to Yunwu and asks, "Those people are just temporary teams of greedy people. They are lax in their actions. They don't have the ability to retaliate." Cloud Dance coldly said, "What's more, I have left them a life. If they have self-knowledge, they should know how to do. Don't provoke me again is the right behavior." Mu Xiaoming said with a smile, "You are really impolite. They are all desperators, but you don't want to kill them. Do you want to leave a curse?" Cloud Dance doesn't think so. "What's that? I'm just trying to look good on the surface. Looking for other people also needs some big families in Flint Town, so it's better not to make trouble. But if things come to me, I will not give in easily." There was a smile in Mu Xiaoming's eyes, but he didn't say anything more. Three people's speed is extremely fast. This time is deliberately do not say hello to other people, so soon arrived at the destination. A huge palace looms between the trees. There are fluctuations of space elements in the air. Just looking at the palace, many people show their salivating eyes. Cloud Dance 3 people can slow down when they are about to arrive, so that they are not so attractive, mixed in the crowd to see the palace. At this time, the gate of the palace was already a sea of people. Everyone looked at the gate of the palace with greedy eyes, but no one dared to get close to it. Near the gate of the palace, there were a group of bodyguards dressed in black strong clothes, armed in a circle, who kept no one near the gate of the palace, as if waiting for something strange. Mu Xiaoming grabbed a man who was talking to his friend and asked, "This man, why are there so many people? Don't you go in yet?" That person might as well be caught for a moment, just want to get angry. See Mu Xiaoming a smile to ask him a question, also politely call him brother. As the saying goes, the man who reaches out his hand and doesn't smile is no longer angry. He also says happily, "You don't know. The border at the gate of the palace is very strong. It's said that even the masters of Wuzong realm can't open it after passing the previous test. So our city master contacted the city masters of other cities and gathered a large number of masters to open it together. It's not time yet. They haven't come yet. We can't get in even if we want to." In this way, Mu Xiaoming understood why so many people were willing to accept the discipline of those people in black. It's not because those people in strong clothes are the bodyguards of the Lord. If they want to enter the palace, they must accept the favor of the Lord to open the border. Otherwise, no one will be able to enter the palace without the Lord's command. So at this time, naturally, everyone will be obedient. In the face of the city lord, no one will make trouble. Mu Xiaoming asked again, "How long will it take for them to come?" The man looked up at the sun in the sky, estimated the time and said, "I'm afraid it's going to be noon. We are all worried that we'll be crowded behind, and the good things will be robbed by others. That's why we came so early. The city masters are not in a hurry. It's still early." On hearing this, Mu Xiaoming's face suddenly collapsed, but he gave thanks to the humanitarian, and then returned to Yunwu's side. "I can't get in until noon." As soon as he came back, Mu Xiaoming hung his head and complained, "Ah, Xiaowu, you said, with the strength of the three of us, can we open the border? You are the strength of Emperor Wu." Cloud Dance frowned at the palace gate and said, "You can open it, just what? Can we open it, or shall we go first?" Mu Xiaoming said quickly. Cloud Dance shook his head. The legendary summoner left such a treasure cave. Do you think it would be so easy for others to enter? Mu Xiaoming was stunned. What do you mean? The Cloud Dance is a corner of the mouth to hook. Did not steal the grave, but always heard of stealing the grave? There are many mechanisms in every tomb. If you want to break in directly, I promise, you will die. Mu Xiaoming's heart trembled. He swallowed a mouthful of saliva and said, "Is it so terrible? Isn't it impossible to get in?" Yunwu shook his head, his eyes swept over the greedy faces, and his voice became very heartless. "These people are pathfinding stones." Mu Xiaoming was stunned, instantly understood what Cloud Dance meant, and looked at those people. People from all over the world gathered here, and someone had already found a team to form a small team. Everyone's face was full of enthusiasm, and their coveting for the treasure made them forget the same price they had to pay. Yunwu 3 people are sitting in a place to have a rest. It seems that they feel that they have formed a team of their own, or because Yunwu's feeling is too cold to be close to, so no one dares to come up to say hello for a long time. Just when Yunwu thought it would be like this until he entered the palace, suddenly a voice came. "Found it." Here they are. The sound of surprise came directly to Yunwu 3. Then, they saw a small team coming towards the tree where they were. There were 10 people in the team. At the front was a girl about 13 or 14 years old, dressed in yellow. There is also a middle-aged man behind to protect him. Just now, the voice of surprise is just from her. The sound is clear and crisp, which attracts many people's attention. My God, it's the second lady of the city lord. Ah, really? The second lady of the city master? How come she's here? I didn't expect to see her here. The second lady is more beautiful. Ah, how are they going that way? The voices of discussion rang out one after another. All the people consciously gave way to both sides of the place where the team passed. It was the second lady of Flint Town. Who dares to offend her? Cloud Dance. 3 people looked at each other, in each other's eyes to see the doubt. How this Flint Town 2 young lady found them. In the twinkling of an eye, those people came to the front. The woman in yellow came directly to Yunwu, with a surprise on her face. Wuxia, you have been found at last. Your speed is too fast. We are chasing you all the way. We are afraid that we will not catch up with you and let you go to other teams. Yunwu's face was calm. Looking at the lively girl in front of her, her voice was a little chilly. Are you with us? The girl quickly nodded and said, Yes, just before you started with those people. We were not far away. Later, you left in such a hurry that we didn't catch up and chased all the way. Hey Wuxia, you are so powerful. So many people have been killed. As soon as the girl's words were finished, the onlookers were shocked and looked at the Cloud Dance in disbelief. This woman? How is that possible? But I can't believe what she said. Yunwu felt the people around her looking at her eyes slightly cold. This girl, in a few words, made herself the focus of the public. Is it unintentional or purposeful? A simple appearance, is it really like this on the surface? Seems to feel the displeasure of Cloud Dance. Just now also chirping girl along, don't know where he said the wrong words, some ignorant looking at Cloud Dance. At this time a middle-aged man behind the girl came forward and saluted Yunwu. Said, This young lady, my young lady, just saw your skill, just want to know you, so just all the way to catch up. Please don't misunderstand, we have no malice. The middle-aged man looks at his words and understands that Yunwu must be a person who doesn't want to be in the limelight, so he has this explanation. When he saw that Yunwu's face had calmed down, he continued, What's the name of this young lady? Do the 3 already have a team? As soon as these words came out, Yunwu understood why they found themselves. I'm afraid I started to let them see it before, so I know my strength, so I found myself. No matter how powerful the city master is, he still has to worry about the master. In the tomb left by the legendary summoner, no matter how powerful they are, they have to be careful. Cloud Dance saw the wood of nearby Xiaoming and Lin Yintong one eye, see them both a pair of casual appearance, then say to the middle-aged man, Have no. A middle-aged man is relieved. He has just seen the strength of Cloud Dance, and the 2 people around her can keep up with her speed, so the strength is not low. If we can get the help of these 3 people, I'm afraid this operation can increase a lot of security, all the way to catch up, for fear that they joined other teams. In Xiaohulan, would you like to join us? The middle-aged man asked again. As soon as the quiet girl heard the invitation, she quickly jumped out again. And I, my name is Huolinger, the 2nd daughter of the Lord of Wuxia town. I'm not weak at the moment. I won't hold back. Huolin looks at Huolinger helplessly. Miss Tu. Huolin looks at Huolinger helplessly. I thought to myself, I'm inviting 3 people to join my team. How can I say that like I want to join their team? I wonder if you will. The middle-aged man continued to ask. The grave is in danger. Although the 3 of them are not low in strength, it's still dangerous to rashly go in. How about forming a team with us? Yunwu 3 carefully looked at the middle-aged man talking opposite, thinking constantly in his mind. It's a good idea to form a team, but it also depends on who you form a team with. However, the girl said that she was the 2nd lady of the Lord of Flint Town. If she formed a team with them, she was afraid that she would be together with the Lord's team. At that time, she would not be able to seize the inheritance, and would even stand on the side of the Lord of Flint Town. Yunwu's eyes narrowed, and some of them were not happy. Huolin keenly captures Yunwu's expression, and thinks that the other party dislikes their strength. Miss, we are the leaders team. Although we can't compare with Miss 3, we are much better than other teams here. If you can form a team with the 3 young ladies, the strength is absolutely innumerable. Cloud Dance lightly looked at Huolin, voice is cold. We always stand alone, don't like to listen to people. I'm afraid you've got the wrong person. Hearing this, Huolin was not disappointed, but his eyes lit up directly. If that's the reason, miss, don't worry at all. Although we are all the leaders team, there are too many people coming to explore in Flint Town this time, so we have formed various teams and acted separately. If Miss joined our team, She didn't have to listen to anyone. As for the lord of the city has always been courteous to the good and respected the strong. I don't think he will embarrass the young lady. If Miss can join hands with us this time, we may be able to help if we encounter any problems in the future. Huolin said so many words, but what finally moved Yunwu was the last one. This sentence hit her heart. Up to now, she has not forgotten what her original purpose was when she came to Wuxia town. It's more important to find the dragon and the evil spirits than to get the inheritance. How is Miss thinking? Fire Lin see Cloud Dance's face become relaxed, immediately seemed to see hope, cautiously asked. If the young lady agrees, it cannot be regarded as joining our team, but as cooperation between our two teams. How about that? After entering the tomb, we can only cooperate with each other when dealing with other teams. As for the really valuable things in the tomb, those who have the ability can get them, and ordinary treasures can be divided at a later time. How about that? Wuxia, you agree. Huolinger also comes up to the cloud dance, opens a pair of big eyes of water spirit, worships the eyes to look at the cloud dance and says. Cloud dance looks at Xiang Huolinger. At the age of 13 or 14, she must have been brought up by the lord of Wuxia town since childhood. She looks innocent and innocent. She only saw her fight once, so she decided that she was a good person. She followed her all the way and treated her as a female xia. Such a person, led a person from the heart of the impulse to want to protect. What do you think? Cloud Dance turned his head and looked at Wu Xiaoming and Lin Yuntong, who had never spoken. Mu Xiaoming shrugged and said, I don't care. It's the same with anyone. I only listen to you. Lin Yuntong, like Mu Xiaoming, looks at Yunwu with 3 simple words. Listen to you. Yunwu nodded, ready to speak, but suddenly another voice came from one side. Oh, I didn't expect that the first warrior of Flint Town would appear here, and send an invitation to an outsider in such a low voice. Tut tut, I really lost the face of Flint Town. The warm tone became very harsh because of the sarcasm in the tone. Huolin's face changed and said coldly, Mulin, what are you talking about? Cloud Dance. Several people turned to the source of the voice to see. Between a man in black clothes is holding a fan, gently fan. It's a warm and moist appearance, but in the black shirt, I'm wearing a strong suit, which perfectly shows the strong lines of the body, full of explosive power. There were 8 people behind him, walking towards this side. It's the young master of Yulin Town. Another one in the crowd said in surprise. Just as Huolin had just come over, they gave up another way and looked at the Mulin with more fear than before. It turned out to be him. I heard that he is a new rising genius. He is only 16 years old this year, and he has already reached the level of Wuzuan. It is said that he can reach the level of Wuzong before he is 18 years old. I didn't expect that the young master of Yulin Town also came and brought a team of his own. What are they doing here? It said that he always wanted to marry the second young lady of Wuxia Town, and the city leader was very satisfied, but the second young lady didn't want to live or die, which delayed him all the time. Oh, there is such a thing. In the eyes of awe, Mulin came to several people. The voice of people around him came, and Huolin's face became very ugly. How can the reputation of the second lady of her family be corrupted by others? Cloud Dance is a face of indifference, but the heart is constantly looking at. Looking at the current situation, it seems that this Mu Lin is very frustrated because he can't marry Huolinger, so he will vent his anger on the people around her? Yunwu's eyes were cold, but he didn't say much. Cut, cool guy. The voice that Mu Xiaoming disdains comes. He felt that the black dress was really out of place on Mulin's body, which made him see it badly. But his favorite color, black, was so spoiled in front of him. How could he be happy? Mu Lin's strength is not bad, and Mu Xiaoming did not deliberately lower his voice, so this word fell directly in Mu Lin's ears. As soon as Mu Lin's face changed, his cold eyes cast directly at Mu Xiaoming. For a moment, the pressure of forcing people directly hit Mu Xiaoming. God, this strength is worthy of being the young master of Yulin Town. It's a genius. It's really terrible. I had such strength when I was only 16 years old. And I heard it was the middle period of Wuzuan. One day he will surpass his father. The voice of discussion once again sounded. Or from the beginning of the emergence of Mulan, the voice of discussion did not stop. All the topics revolve around him, with him as the center, and Mulan seems to enjoy this kind of treatment. His eyes are full of pride. He released the power to put in all directions. Some of the strength of the invincible people around just feel as if they were pressed on the chest of a big stone in general. Extremely painful, even back. For a moment, there was a big circle around the Mulan family, which showed his difference. Looking at the reaction of people around, a touch of pride flashed in Mulan's eyes. Although it is to show his strength with Mu Xiaoming as a guide, his real purpose is to let people see how far his strength is. He has enjoyed this kind of vision since he was a child, and it has never changed. At this moment, his attention has long been on the people around him. Where can he take care of Mu Xiaoming? Mu Xiaoming reached for his ear, and felt even worse. Wu Zun's strength is just like this. He is really a frog in the well. Do you think he is very powerful? For a moment, Mu Xiaoming looked down upon this man even more. I thought I was just fond of banging, but I didn't expect that I was a guy with no eyes. Mu Xiaoming said coldly. The beautiful voice attracted Mulan's sight. Mulan thought that he would see a person who was no different from others, but when he came into contact with Mu Xiaoming, he was shocked. How can you? Mulan looked at Mu Xiaoming in shock and said, in front of the people as if not affected in general, a look of impatience at themselves, and even some disdain. When did he receive such treatment as the grand young master of Yulin town? Just don't know. He if no in front of this same other black clothes of man. Is what all boundary of little lord, will have such idea? Well. Mu Xiaoming eyebrows pick. How not affected by you? Look, who is that man? How come it's not affected at all? It seems that you don't have to be inferior in strength. And the two people next to him are not affected. From time to time, their strength is the same as him? Some people around said curiously. Huolin was also shocked to see Mu Xiaoming. Originally, they all focused on Yunwu. Even for Yunwu, they just estimated that her strength should be in Wuzun's realm. But now to see that the people around her are not affected by the pressure of Wuzun, the strength of Cloud Dance will be higher. Even the people around are at least the strength of Wuzun. Is this woman Wuzong? Huolin cheers in his heart. He has found a treasure this time. With the second lady's willfulness, he finds a man with the same strength as the city master. This time they got it. Only then did Mulan realize that his behavior was a bit out of fashion, which almost destroyed his image of being a graceful young man in the eyes of the public. He showed such a shocked attitude in front of so many people. Suddenly, he coughed gently, and took back the released pressure, as if nothing had happened just now. What do you call me? As soon as the fan in Mulan's hand was closed, a warm smile appeared on his face again. He said to Mu Xiaoming that he seemed to love talents. But Mu Xiaoming didn't change his attitude because of him. He said mercilessly, "It's so fast to change face. Just now he wanted to threaten me." Mulan's face turned blue and white. But in full view of the public he could not change his face again, so he said with a dry smile, "You really love to joke. Just now, you just want to know your strength. Out of admiration for the chivalrous, there is no malice. If you have misunderstood me, I would like to apologize here." Mu Xiaoming turned his lips and didn't want to pay any attention to him. "You haven't joined any team yet, have you?" When Mu Xiaoming was ready to ignore him, he didn't expect that Mulan would start the next topic. As soon as these words came out, Mu Xiaoming immediately became alert. "Is there a team? What's the matter with you?" "Yes. Do you want to form a team with me?" The blue veins on Mulan's forehead burst up. From small to large, he suffered less than he did today. "You are joking. I already have my own team. If you don't mind, how about joining our team? When you come out of the grave, we will naturally give you satisfactory benefits." As soon as Mulan's words were finished, Mu Xiaoming didn't say anything. Huolin, who was silent all the time, said, "Cut, young master. Don't disgust people with your young master's style, okay?" As soon as Mulan's face changed, he heard Huolin immediately say, "What's the good of giving people satisfaction? You clearly know that everyone comes for the things in the tomb. When you say this, You want this young Xia to give you a free hand not to take the things in the tomb. What's the benefit after the event? What's the advantage? Do you like Yulin Town? Or money? Hulin's words are like pork chops. They attack Mulin directly. Mulin's face is very ugly. Good. Mu Xiaoming didn't think it was too big to watch the excitement. He clapped his hands and cheered directly. His face was full of praise and he said with a smile, "It's right in my heart." I said, "How can I listen to that? I almost fell for it." Cloud danced white-wood Xiaoming one eye, but did not expose him. With the brain of Mu Xiaoming, how can you not see through the mystery of that? That's just to hide my clumsiness, and use Hulin's hand to beat Mulin back. Hulin. Don't talk about it, Mulin said coldly to Hulin. At this time, I don't care about the image. Originally, he wanted to maintain his image as a courteous corporal, but the clinker was exposed by Hulin. Since he doesn't want to make himself better, he's welcome. You beg others to go to your team in such a low voice, and others are not willing to do so. Instead, you lose the face of Flint Town. As the first warrior of Flint Town, it's unforgivable to do such a thing. How unforgivable. We should correct our attitude towards experts. Do I have to put my eyes on my head like you before I go out? Yu Mulin and Huilin did not want anyone to fight. All right. Don't quarrel anymore, a clear voice came. Huilinger directly drags Huilin behind him. Uncle Lin, what are you arguing with him about? You don't know his temper. After Huilinger came out, Mulin's eyes were fixed on her. At this time, hearing Huilinger's words, she thought she was talking for herself. Suddenly, she showed a touch of danger. She went forward and said to Huilinger, "Linger, long time no see." Huilinger frowned at Mulin, then turned his head and said, "Well, long time no see." Mulin's eyes twinkled with salivation and desire, but he was well suppressed by himself, and his face was still Piampian child. Why did Linger come here? The grave is full of danger. It's very dangerous. Huilinger looked up and said, "I'm not afraid of danger." Mulin showed a worried look and said, "But even if you are not afraid, those of us who care about you will be very worried. How about our two teams go in together? So we can take care of each other." Mulin always thinks that the reason why Huilinger doesn't like him is that he doesn't find his real charm. If they get in touch with each other more, Huilinger will treat him wholeheartedly sooner or later. "No, I'm not with you. I'm with Wuxia." Huilinger turns around and runs to Yunwu, boldly grabs Yunwu's arm and says, Wuxia, have you thought about it? Would you like to join us?" Mulin's face changed. "It's really bad today. I was ridiculed by that man just now. Now I have to compete with this woman again. Why don't we have 3 teams working together, and then we can get what we need with our own abilities?" Mulin came to Cloud Dance, and said condescending. While Linger didn't look at him, the sight of Yunwu was very cold, as if as long as Yunwu said no, he could directly put Yunwu in the right place. Cloud Dance a corner of the mouth hook, in the heart way. Threaten me? Unfortunately, what I hate most is being threatened by others, and what I am not afraid of is also a threat. Looking at the side with a pair of bright eyes, looking at their own fire spirit son, Cloud lightly nodded. "Good, I'm with you." Huilinger's eyes brightened. "Really? Excellent. Wuxia, you finally agreed." Mulin's face also showed a smile. "Great, in this way, our team is probably the most powerful one." Cloud Dance looked at him coldly and said coldly, "You seem to have misunderstood something. I'm talking about working with them, not with you." Mulin's smile froze on his face. On the other side, Huilin and others were pleasantly surprised. "Ha ha ha, Xiaowu's decision is really wise. I agree. I'll join this little girl." Mu Xiaoming laughs heartily. "I agree with Little Dance." Lin Yuntong has a gentle face and a smile that makes people feel very close. "What did you say?" Mulin finally responded with a gloomy and terrible face. Anyway, he has suffered too many humiliating things today. In that case, he doesn't have to endure any longer. Cloud Dance picked eyebrow to see him. Voice is cold. "What do I say you don't understand?" Mulin's cold vision and convalescence fell on Yunwu's body. "You've all thought about it. Do Do you want to form a team with me or not? No, there is no doubt about the cool tone and tone. It's such a beautiful voice, but it's so ugly in Mulan's ears. You three, don't be ignorant. Mulan said, directly step forward to start, but suddenly out behind him a person will pull him. Then he went up and whispered in Mulan's ear. Young master, this is not a place to fight. The city masters will come here later. Now they are fighting, then there will be no strength to grab the treasure. In a word, Mulan's action suddenly stopped, but looking at several people in front of him, he couldn't swallow it anyway. In his eyes, those who disobey his will not come to a good end. What's more, these people today are not just disobeying his will. Young master, there's a long way to go. It's not too late to teach them when they get the treasure. The people around said again. They are not weak, we have to find some experts to come. This words is to remind Mulan finally. The bad vision swept on Cloud Dance 3 people, finally took back. Since you are not willing to form a team with us, you must have confidence to show your skills in the grave. In that case, I won't continue to harass you. We'll have a good meeting in the future. Mulan left this sentence, and then left here with 8 people behind him. He didn't have the natural and unrestrained appearance when he came. Did those people offend the young master? There will be no good days in the future. Yes, that's a young master. He's always merciless when dealing with people. I can only wish them good luck. The people around them shook their heads and looked at Yunwu 3 people. They only felt that their fate was really pitiful. No one dared to disturb them anymore. They were afraid that if they were not careful, they would spread to the young master and make the young master take out their anger. It seems to have caused a lot of trouble. Mu Xiaoming listened to the voices of the people around him and said thoughtfully, Cloud Dance, they are waiting for the opening of the tomb, and far away, Situ Lan's fate is not so smooth. When Situ Lan regained consciousness again, he only felt that his whole body was wet and sticky. With his eyes closed, he could feel the wet sea wind blowing over his body. He breathed and felt as if his lungs had been exhausted for a long time without breathing. Until now, they suddenly had vitality. Acutely coughing twice, Situ Lan felt his throat burning. Gritting his teeth and opening his eyes, he suddenly found that there was a clear sky in front of him. Not like the deep sea, but bright and beautiful blue. He suddenly had the idea of singing aloud. Struggling to prop up, looking around, I found myself lying on a deck. The ship was so huge that I didn't see the bow at a glance. Situ Lan jumped up, surprised, but the lack of oxygen for a long time made him dizzy, almost fell down, and quickly helped the side of the boat. Oh, you're awake. Someone behind said that Situ Lan turned his head curiously. I saw a woman with an extremely hot figure, wearing a skirt with a fork to the thigh root. Her double peaks were full and extremely eye-catching. She twisted her waist and hips. When she came towards herself from a distance, countless eyes on the deck had gathered on her. Let Situ Lan a burst of embarrassment, coughed twice, toward the woman with a smile. Thank you for saving your life. Girl. The woman's willow eyebrows are slightly provoked, and the whole person has all kinds of amorous feelings, which makes Situ Lan feel a little stunned. Such a woman is really the best. I'm much older than you. How can you call me a girl? My name is Song Huanxiang. All the people on this ship call me Huanjia, so do you. The woman came close to Situ Lan, with a faint fragrance all over her body, which made Situ Lan nervous, and she could not help retreating 2 steps. It seems that my brother is still very pure. He stretched out his fingers from the magic fragrance, lifted up Situ Lan's chin, bent his eyebrows and eyes, and suddenly approached Situ Lan. His good body was tightly attached to Situ Lan's body. Suddenly let Situ Lan quickly back 2 steps, heart-rise smile, really a dangerous woman. Boy, what's your name? I saved you only because you look good. Come back to the tribe with me. Don't irritate me, or I may throw you into the sea again. From the magic incense towards Situ Lan blinked, licked his lips. My name is Situ Lan. Situ Lan lowered his head and felt sad. This was really the first thing to go out of the wolves and into the tiger's mouth. Seeing the magic incense leave from the front, Situ Lan just breathed and sat down on the deck, looking at the vast sea behind him. He didn't know where he was supposed to meet his friends, But he was in the sea and didn't know where he was going next. Yang Tian sighed, turned his head and saw two men coming, bare upper body, showing a strong muscle, and gave Situlan a stiff smile. Our helmsman has prepared food and room for you. Come with us. He said. The two muscular men took Situlan to a room and retreated. Situlan came into the room and saw that there were all kinds of food on the table, which made his stomach start to coo without willpower. Originally, I thought about whether these people would poison him, but now I know that they are in the vast sea. If they want to kill themselves, they can't use poison to kill themselves. So comfort oneself. Then sit down and scrupulously begin to eat and drink. Yes, there's nothing more important than filling your stomach. After dinner, Situlan wiped his mouth and breathed, looking at the door of the room. My heart is like a mirror. Just now when I was eating, someone had locked the door. Two big men stood in front of the door to prevent Situlan from escaping. Helplessly turned to look at the bed behind, and finally simply sighed, lying on the bed closed his eyes. Situlan was so sleepy that he thought that he was on the vast sea and couldn't escape to other places. It's better in the hands of humans than in the hands of chimpanzees. Situlan mumbled to himself, closed his eyes and went to sleep. It was not until he was awakened by the roar of gongs and drums that Situlan opened his tired eyes. Look at the sky, it's dark. The lights are bright outside. The cheers and shouts of countless people burst through the doors and windows and poured into Situlan's ears. He can't help but go to the door curiously and try to open the door. The door that I thought was locked was opened easily. Out of the small room, I found that the ship was about to dock and was heading for a huge dock. There were people on the dock, and the crowd was cheering. And look inside, all are bright lights, countless rooms, streets, the sound of people. Where is these people? Situlan murmured. Looking around in shock, I saw that there were countless ships of the same size as the ships I was riding around. I couldn't see the end in the vast sea. He was very curious about what kind of place it was. He turned around and saw that he came to his side from the magic fragrance. He leaned gracefully against the side of the boat and looked at Situlan with a smile. How are you shocked? Where is this? Situlan looked around, nodded in shock and murmured. It's really spectacular. This is my country. From the magic incense stands straight body, looking at the distant town. This is my country, although he is just a tribe. Looking at Situlan, he showed a charming smile. It turned out that she was the leader of the tribe. She was really not an ordinary woman. She couldn't help but praise sincerely. The girl is really beyond people's ability. Patriarch. A man appeared beside him and bowed to the magic incense and said, We are going to arrive at Winge Island in front of us. Please prepare for it early. The man wears a suit of armor, but his skin is still white and beautiful. His sword eyebrows are at the temples, his eyes are like stars, his lips are red and his teeth are white. At first glance, he is a peerless man. He looked up at Situlan, and his eyes were full of provocation. He nodded with a smile and didn't say much. He turned his head to see Situlan. I'm going to prepare first. In a moment, someone will lead you back to our palace. I'll see you in the evening. See you in the evening. There are many ambiguities in these 4 words. The beautiful man couldn't help looking up and looking at Situlan. At this time his eyes were full of anger. No, it's jealousy and murderous. Situlan can't help sighing in his heart. He is wrapped up in this strange murderous spirit, which makes Situlan very unhappy. He looked at the man beside him, shrugged and walked out of the sailboat with everyone's steps. The wharf stretches for hundreds of miles along the coast. The whole coastline is full of lights and peace. Situlan looked at the prosperity of the island, and couldn't help taking a breath. I thought these people were pirates and roamed the sea, but I didn't expect that behind them was such a prosperous and powerful island. Along with the people around us, we walked towards the street. There were vendors on the street. Now it's late at night, but the lights on the street make it look like the day. Is this Mr. Situ? Around, a voice said. Let Situlan can't help but turn his head. Look at the man, a lung, but just that with the beautiful man from the magic fragrance side. But at this time has changed a body ordinary clothes, at this time the belt floats, does not have some verve. Situlan is very distressed in his heart. This man has a murderous look on his face. He is obviously aiming at himself. He doesn't know what he is doing from the magic fragrance. May I have your name, sir? Situlan looked around, enjoying the prosperity of this school, and asked casually. The man is very obviously not willing to show, coldly looked at Situlan, lowered his head. You and I just met by chance. Why remember each other's name? Helpless shrug, Situlan's smile no longer involved. The man glanced at Situlan, and had to quicken his pace to lead the way in front of him. The reception room is just ahead. Although that man has hostility to Situlan, he still dutifully leads the way for Situlan. But the low pressure all the way made Situlan feel very uncomfortable. Until through the long street, has been walking to the back of the place where there is no one. The light gradually dimmed down, suddenly appeared in front of a huge wall, solemn and dignified. It's already here. The man arched his hand and said to Situlan. He didn't look up at Situlan and turned to leave. Wait a minute. Situlan stopped him, looked at the huge dark courtyard in front of him and asked, Don't you go in and see Tsong Huanxiang? I'm not going in. The man turned his back to Situlan and walked towards the way he came. The patriarch didn't ask me to go in. Said has accelerated the pace to leave. Situlan lunged for a long time, just dumbfounded, pushed open the door, walked in. The long corridor leads all the way to the room with orange lights. Looking at the house like a palace in front of him, Situlan suddenly stopped, and then resolutely walked in. As soon as they arrived at the gate of the mansion, the two maids pushed the door open and bowed to Situlan, as if they were greeting a very distinguished guest. This Situlan's heart is more heavy, took a deep breath, still walked in. When he first went in, there was no magic fragrance in the room. Situlan felt that it was inappropriate for him to walk around. So he sat down at the table. The maid, who had already stood by, took the teapot and poured water for him, then stepped back and said nothing. Situlan lowered his head and looked at the teacup, a little uneasy in his heart. I don't know how long it took until I heard a light footstep behind me. Looking back, I saw that she had changed her clothes, loose and casual clothes. Her hair was loose and her makeup was removed. It was not as enchanting as before, but it also had a different flavor. He went straight to sit down beside Situlan, and the maid beside him poured a cup of tea for him. Situlan, your name is Situlan. I don't know whether I'm talking to myself or asking Situlan. Just murmured, then squinted, looked down and sneered, tasted a mouthful of tea. The boy who brought you here is Shaoran, a man like my child. Situlan also lowered his head, watching the tea falling from the bottom of the bowl, listening to the voice of the magic fragrance. Is this woman asking me to come here to listen to her mind? The woman continued. That child is a little strange. Just don't mind. He is still a very simple person at the bottom of his heart. Situlan nodded with a smile. I don't care. There is no intersection. As he said, it's just a chance meeting. What do you mind? Listening to Situlan's words, he frowned. In your eyes, we just met by chance? Endless forest, just like the virgin forest. I don't know when I can see the sun again. Nanganji leaned against a tree trunk and gasped violently. This place is so dangerous that he has to tighten his nerves at every step. The blood hole in his chest is now covered with a large amount of blood and dyed red. In this world, there is no similar, no noise but the silence of death, which makes him frown. If you can't find shelter, you may die in the forest because of serious injury. But that figure has been with him. Nanganji has been able to feel its existence, but cannot see it, because it is too fast. He moved slowly. In the forest, in addition to this one around, there are other dangers. Tense nerves cannot relax for a moment. He coughed twice to force himself up. Around that small figure and toward Nangangi suddenly hit. Nangangi tight thin lips. He clearly has seen the action of the figure. But before he raised his hand, he frowned and snorted, and a blood hole appeared on his arm. Nangangi held the tree and sighed, looking at the green and the light mist in the vast forest. The light enveloped him, because he lost more blood, which led to his fatigue and weakness. There were one or two shrieks in the forest from time to time, or a huge figure from the top of the head occasionally. each of which made Nangongyi nervous and sweaty. He looked around, searching for the tiny shadow that had just attacked him. Finally, the shadow appeared around again, fast and attacking itself. Nangongyi's hand suddenly gushes out a light ray, looking at that dark shadow getting closer and closer, then suddenly attacks. Well. Nangongyi staggers backward and covers his stomach. Suddenly, blood flows down his fingers and his face turns pale. Nangongyi is breathing heavily, and his whole body is shaking, but he is still biting his teeth and pouring the light into his palm. He opens his eyes and carefully observes the surroundings. After a long confrontation with the unknown warcraft, Nangongyi still hasn't seen its appearance clearly, so he can't help but despair. Looking at the sky getting darker and darker, the dense fog gradually rises in the forest and completely submerges the road ahead. The fog was so thick that I couldn't even see the trees in front of me. After Nangongyi was attacked 5 times by the figure, he finally raised his hand and grasped the thing. At this time, Nangongyi's whole body was scarred. Looking at the small snake in his hand, Nangongyi really can't laugh or cry. It was such a small thing that made himself so embarrassed that he let out his breath. He leaned against the tree and sat on the ground, panting. All the wounds on his body are bleeding, and Nangongyi even feels that his body's heat is rapidly losing. The fog is getting thicker and thicker. In the twinkling of an eye, Nangongyi finds that he can't see the leaves on his head. He is so confused that he even thinks that he has fallen into the clouds. Panting in a hurry, Nangongyi has a little panic in his eyes. He suddenly covers his mouth and coughs violently. This fog is poisonous. Nangongyi thinks that it's impossible to hold his breath. When he opens his hand, it's wet and sticky, and it's all blood. Cover your mouth and nose with your hands. But there is no use at all. The mist enters Nangongyi's mouth and nose, and suddenly, there is a hot pain in his lung. His eyes began to blur, and his ears could not hear clearly. His breathing became heavy. Nangongyi's heart sank. He covered his chest and stood up with the tree. He was about to suffocate. Did not walk 2 steps, leg a soft, plop down on the ground, desperately want to stand up, but the body seems to be no longer their own, never stand up. Cough. Tightly holding his chest clothes, coughing twice, blood down the corner of the mouth, cheek, dyed the ground red. Looking at the grass on the ground, gradually, the whole world has become black. Are you going to die here today? Thinking about this, I have gradually lost consciousness, only vaguely heard someone saying, "Hello. Wake up." In the hustle and bustle of the crowd, Cloud Dance 3 people and Fire Spirit Sun a group of people sit together, talking and laughing. From Mulan left after a few people have finished introducing each other, at this time is also slowly familiar with. It turns out that Miss Yunwu came here to find her friends. Huolin said with admiration after hearing Yunwu's words. "Miss, I really don't admire her for being so affectionate and righteous. Please don't worry. When I come out of the tomb, I will tell the Lord about you and ask him to send someone to look for your friend." Yunwu originally said find a friend, because the other party asked them why they came here, but unexpectedly Huolin listened to it, and immediately gave Huolin a little favor. "In that case, I'll be in trouble," Cloud Dance Light said. "Wuxia, don't worry. If he forgets me, I Huolinger will help you persuade Dad." Huolinger crunched up to Yunwu and said, although Yunwu is just a simple 3-word, find a friend. But Huolinger has already made up a large section of chivalrous plot, and immediately his worship of Cloud Dance goes up to a higher level. Poof! Mu Xiaoming couldn't help laughing. "I said, little girl, don't yell at each other. If you're not uncomfortable, we're still uncomfortable. Since we're all in the same team, let's call each other's names directly. Ah, is that okay?" Huolinger turned his head and blinked a pair of Shueling's eyes at Yunwu. "Can I call you Sister Yin?" Yunwu nodded with a smile. This simple and innocent little girl makes her like it rarely. Huolinger immediately cheered happily, a face full of joy smile, as if to get how much reward. One side of the Fire Lin helplessly shook his head. "Own Miss is so easy to meet. The Lord is coming, the Lord is coming." There was a sudden commotion in the crowd. Cloud Dance a few people turned to see on the sky, A few flying warcraft fly toward this side. These are the warcraft they domesticate. Although they can't contract like the summoner, they can domesticate them and make them work for themselves. On the back of those warcraft, there are many people standing alternately. Looking at the formation, it is bigger than all the people here. Warcraft was so big that it had to stop in mid-air. Then a figure flew down from Warcraft's back and landed firmly in front of the palace gate. The lords of every city are here. What an eye-opener. I don't have a chance to see such a scene at ordinary times. It seems that everyone has great expectations for this expedition. Yes, look at that. That's the Lord of Huling Town. He seldom goes out, and few people can see him with their own eyes. It's incredible that this incident even shocked him. This time, all the city masters are out. It seems that they are sure to get that thing. Around the voices of discussion, Cloud dance all word in the ear, looking at those who appear in the front of the people. A little look at their strength, then directly withdraw their eyes. Wuzong. All of these city masters are in the realm of Wuzong. The most powerful city master of Wuxia town is in the later period of Wuzong. Sister Yin, let's go. Although we're not in the same team as Dad, we'd better go and say hello first and get familiar with each other. When it's done, we can let Dad help you. Huolinger said with Cloud Dance's arm. Yinwu nodded. Led by Huolin, the party walked towards the palace gate. Through the sea of people, I saw Huolinger and Huolin, and the guards in black didn't stop them. They saluted them respectfully, and then obediently let them go. Lord of Fire, I didn't expect that there are so many people coming today. The Lord Mu of Yulin said to the Lord of Washishi, with a warm smile on his face. People who don't know think their friendship is so good. But in fact, it is not the case. The two people have been fighting for many years. Before, they planned to use Huolinger and Mulin's marriage to ease a little, but they have been deadlocked until now. But at the end of the day, Wuxia town is the largest town nearby, and Huoting, the leader of Wuxia town, is the most powerful person in several cities nearby. As long as he is in charge of Wuxia town, no one dares to do anything about Wuxia town. No matter how unconvinced the Lord of Yulin town was, he didn't dare to tear his face with him. No matter how much you come. This expedition is not a small one. We don't know the danger in it. We must be careful. With so many people here, we have a better chance of winning. Huoting looked at the gate of the palace, and said thoughtfully, it's still the Master of Fire's consideration. The city master of Mu said with a smile, his face is as warm as jade, which is the same as that of Mu Lin, worthy of being a father and son. But he turned around and gave a cold hum. What's more likely to win? It's just that there are more pathfinding stones. That's a good thing to say. Daddy Clear Business thought of it, attracted everyone's attention in the past, only to see a small goose yellow figure appeared in front of the huge open space at the gate of the palace. And as soon as Fong appeared, he rushed directly towards Huoting. Dad, why are you here now? We've been here for a while, Huolinger complained. Huoting stretched out his hand and pinched Huolinger's nose. His eyes were full of love and doting. Wait a little longer. What's the matter? Let you know more friends. Do you still hate boredom? Huolinger looked up and said, I'm not bored. Dad, I tell you, I know a great heroine. Huoting was not surprised. He reached for Huolinger's head and said, well, it's good. It's also nice to meet a few more friends. Anyway, with Huolin by her side, you don't have to worry about the problem of knowing people. Huolinger frowned and pulled the hand off his head. He said, Dad, I'm serious. Sister Yin is a very powerful female Xia, and her two friends are very powerful. You'll know when you see them. Huoting didn't have the heart to deal with it. She thought it was her daughter who had a small temper. She touched her head with another hand. Okay, Dad knows. Now there's business to do. Would you go to your team first? Fire Spirit Sun Mouthadoo is preparing to say what, but see Fire Tongue's eyes suddenly put in his behind, with a bit surprised looking at a place. Huolinger looks back and sees Huolin and several people coming here, while Yinwu and 3 people are following Huolin calmly. Huolin stands beside Yinwu with a very polite attitude. He doesn't treat a younger generation like that, But he treats a young girl so politely. Behind the girl, there was a man and a woman following her, obviously with the girl's lead. Huiting tried to explore the strength of Cloud Dance, but found nothing. At this time, Yunwu looked up in his direction. Just for a moment, Huiting suddenly had the illusion that the whole person was seen through. It seemed that every idea of himself was seen by this person. Sister Yun. Huolingner says hello and pours on the cloud like a lark. Sister Yun, my father doesn't believe that you are very good. You just came. Let's go. I'll take you to meet Dad and let him know that you are also very good. A few people say words then walk to the fire tongue in front of Cloud Dance Station in the fire tongue of opposite, eyes clear. Just now Huiting looked at her, and felt that her strength was higher than him. How could she easily let him look at her? Cloud Dance has something else to borrow from the help of Wuxia town, so if you want Huiting to help yourself, you must show him the power to face it. Otherwise, for the weak, even the most basic request will not be easy to help. Sure enough, after seeing the Cloud Dance, Huiting's attitude changed a bit. Then he politely said, "This young lady is really excellent. It's a great honor for my little girl to know someone like you. Please take care of her in the next exploration." Cloud Dance looked at the innocent Huolinger and nodded. "Don't worry, Dad. Sister Yin will protect me. Everyone around her is very powerful, and there will be no mistakes." As soon as the words came out, Huiting immediately turned his head and looked at Yunwu's back. He looked at Mu Xiaoming and found that, like Yunwu, he still couldn't see any realm. "Lord, this Miss Cloud Dance is very powerful." Huolin approached Huiting and said in a soft voice, "According to my subordinate's speculation, it is likely to be Wuzong realm. Her two followers are also very strong. They must be Wuzuan." Yulin Town's Master Mulin's coercion has no effect on us at all. Wuzong realm. Huiting looked at the silent Cloud Dance in shock, with surprise and excitement in his eyes. You know, although Wuxia Town has him, its overall strength is not as strong as Yulin Town. This time, Yulin Town brought a lot of experts. He was afraid that something might damage his precious daughter. And he was afraid that when he faced the treasure in the tomb, he would not get it. Now with the participation of Cloud Dance, there will be one more Cloud Dance in their team. Is it necessary to worry about other people? He really wanted Yunwu to follow him if he didn't worry that his baby daughter might be in danger. I didn't expect Miss Yunwu to do this when she was young. When the grave is over, do you have any interest in staying in Flint Town? Huiting is afraid that Yunwu will be robbed by others, so he sends out an invitation to Yunwu. The difference in attitude between before and after is so great that many people are curious about what Huolin said just now. "Thank you for your kindness. I'm here just to find some of my friends. If you can't find it, you'll leave here. There's no plan to stay here for a long time." Cloud Dance said softly, declined Fire Tongue's good intention, at the same time put forward his own demand. "Oh, looking for friends?" Huiting caught the key words and showed a curious look on his face. "I don't know what your friends are like. If I can use the power of Flint to help you find it." Cloud Dance is exactly this meaning, and at this time was directly put forward by Huiting. Cloud Dance's eyes suddenly flashed a light. "Thank you, Lord. Please rest assured that I will do my best to protect Linger." Both of them are straightforward, not so many twists and turns, so they quickly reached a deal. This curtain fell in the eyes of the people around, but only surprised. "I didn't expect the Fire Lord to cherish his talent so much." The Lord of Mu City came again. Just don't know why, look at Cloud Dance's eyes is quite bad. As if Cloud Dance when offended him. Cloud Dance frowned and said nothing more. Lift an eye but see not far away, Mu Lin is a face annoyed of looking at her. Cloud Dance in the heart immediately understand. Only afraid is before of affair this Mu Lin already told his father. So this Mu City Lord then remembered oneself. The Lord of Mu City is worried, but the people Linger brings back are different. Huiting said with a frown. "Now is not the time to say this. Let's see if all the people who opened my sister have arrived. If they have arrived, we will be ready to start." Fire Tongue's words turn the topic for the Cloud Dance. Let the Mu City Lord can't say a word. Can only in the heart dry stare. In the heart ruthlessly will this account in the head of the Cloud Dance. Can Huiting just talk for her? Dream. Wait. When you get to the grave, there are plenty of beautiful things. Who is that woman? How could the city lord treat her like this? Why have you never seen it before? Don't you know that? She is the one who fought with that group of people outside the forest before. She has a good weapon in her hand. Many people are greedy, but now that they have the protection of the lord of the city, it's hard to find him again. Yunwu didn't care about the eyes of the people around him. After a few words with the city master, he stood aside with Huolinger and said nothing more. Now, with the assurance of the city master, Yunwu's mood has relaxed a lot. With the help of the city master, if they are near here, I believe they will be found soon. A little bit of time passed, and finally noon arrived. The huge palace appeared in front of the public like a mirage, shrouded in a light, looming between the trees, like a dream of illusion, which makes people yearn for it. That's because the tomb is still in the package of space elements. Although other people can't understand what's going on, Cloud Dance can feel it. It just doesn't explain. All right. It's time. As soon as Huoting saw that the people were almost there, he said directly that the sound spread out with internal force, which made the noisy sea of people calm down instantly. One by one, with greedy eyes at the palace gate, the warriors who are responsible for opening the border have already stood on one side facing the gate. As long as the city leader gives an order, they will directly use all their strength to attack the border of the palace. Cloud Dance. Several people stand aside, line of sight on those warriors, a look at the past, only feel a little surprised. Did not expect this small place can see so many people who are not weak. Great, the grave is finally going to open. Huolinger looks at the front excitedly. Finally, Huoting ordered attack. At the same time, the fighting spirit of various colors attacked the border. For a moment, as if to hear something broken things, such a powerful attack on the border instantly let the border broken. Grave open. The forest where Yunwu is located is close to the other side of the volcano. A small pool next to a white figure sitting on the edge, leisurely looking at the front of a roasted meat is fragrant, but the line of sight floated to the distance. I don't know what happened to them. It seems that it's hard for me to find small things. Long Qingxia said thoughtfully. When he woke up from the volcano a few days ago, the first thing he did was to find his partner. At the top of the volcano, I found the fire beast, but I learned that Yunwu had gone to the blood corpse place. I rushed to the blood corpse place in a hurry. When I got there, I found that Yunwu had already made a world shaking. And Yunwu has already left there. Long Qingxia had no choice but to set foot on the road of looking for his wife again. After some thinking, they all the way to the east to catch up. All the way according to the residual breath of Cloud Dance, finally arrived here. I don't know if the little guy would recognize me if he saw me now. Long Qingxia looked down at his reflection in the river and said thoughtfully. In the forest. In his half-dream and half-wake-up, Nangongyi is always in the double sky of ice and fire. He feels the pain from his throat to his lungs and spreads all over his body. He wanted to open his eyes, but he couldn't do it at all. He heard a man's voice around him saying gently, "Why haven't you woken up yet? The medicine should not be used wrong." Who is it? Nangongyi said in his heart that he struggled to open his eyes. He wanted to raise his hand to feel whether his veil was still there, but he couldn't move at all. Suddenly someone walks around, and then PA touches his face, which makes Nangongyi's heart sink. "I've been sleeping for several days. Why don't I wake up?" The voice said, followed by warm and sweet warm flow down his throat, the whole body suddenly a warm. In an instant, the senses all over the body came back. Nangongyi opens his eyes difficultly, and is suddenly closed by the dazzling sunlight. A man's figure and simple house flashed past his eyes. He closed his eyes and coughed twice. The man next to him suddenly exclaimed in surprise, "God, you wake up!" Gradually adapted to the glare of the sun, Nangongyi slowly opened his eyes, sour eyes for a long time, and finally focused in a blur. What he saw was the gentle and beautiful face of the young woman in front of him. The man burst into a smile with a bright face. "After walking for such a long time in an uninhabited place, I finally saw Nangongyi feel at ease. But then I felt a thump in my heart and sat up. Blood hole on the body. Suddenly came bursts of pain, let him face white, bite teeth, turn to look at the man, face serious expression, let the man lung for a while, a face puzzled look at him. My veil. Nangongyi said, looking up at the man's surprised expression, subconsciously covering his eyes on his forehead with his hand. Who else can see me except you? The man saw his behavior, a smile, turned from the cabinet next to take out his veil, handed him. Your veil is all blood, I took it to wash. Nangongyi doesn't talk at all. He takes the veil carefully and is ready to wear it on his head, but he is stopped by the man. You are injured now, and you can't go out and walk at will. I'm the only one who has seen you, so don't worry. Don't wear the veil here. Nangongyi is very alert, and did not answer him, just silently put the veil on his head. He got up and got out of bed, but his injury made him soft and nearly fell down. Standing beside the bed, the man helplessly stepped forward to hold Nangongyi's arm and sighed. I said, brother, I'm just a resident in this area. There's no threat. You don't have to be so vigilant. But Nangongyi frowned and looked around. Around there are some wooden cabinets, chairs and tables, and there are no other threats nearby. Seeing this, I couldn't help but vomit and sit on the bed with a soft leg. Then I felt dizzy, followed by severe pain all over my body. You're too seriously injured now, and your shape is. The man looked at Nangongyi and scratched his head. It's so eye-catching, so. That would be great. At this time, Nangongyi showed a faint smile. Thank you for saving me. What's your name, brother? My name is Xiaowu. I should be older than you, so call me Brother Xiao. Xiaowu gave Nangongyi a bowl of porridge with a smile and said, You can drink it, and you can replenish your strength. Then some embarrassed smile. My family is poor, big fish and big meat may not be able to buy. If you are which young master also bear more. Nangongyi looks down at the bowl. The porridge in the bowl can only be called porridge reluctantly. A little bit of rice is floating in the middle, and he sips his mouth. Nangongyi hesitates for a moment, but he still takes the bowl and drinks it. He hands the bowl to Xiaowu. Thank you. The man laughed and put the bowl on the table. Your injury needs more rest, so I won't disturb you. If there is anything, just call my name. That you're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.